Corpus Christi, Texas.
Torpedo plane flew by 50 feet from us on the way to the Battleship Road. So we knew we were at war.
There have been small ceremonies throughout Oahu the past couple of days, but the big one gets underway Wednesday morning at the exact same time 75 years ago that the Japanese planes attacked at Pearl Harbor. Trace Gallagher, Fox News.
They keep searching for anyone trapped in Indonesia. After the earthquake in Aceh province, a magnitude 6.5 undersea shakeup that did not generate a tsunami but did collapse or damage dozens of buildings. At least 97 people were killed. Another 4 have been pulled alive from the rubble. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are partly cloudy this morning, 25 degrees. Winds west at 14 give us a wind chill this morning of 12 above. It's 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Several students at a suburban high school became sick after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance. Several remain hospitalized this morning. First responders to the scene say 13 students at Naperville North High School experienced symptoms of a fast heart rate, dizziness, and dry mouth Tuesday after eating the gummy bears. 2 of the students had been released late last night. 11 remain hospitalized. Naperville Police Commander Jason Harris says students told officers they believe the candy was laced with some kind of liquid-based marijuana substance. Autopsies are scheduled later today for a husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. Police say the couple was discovered yesterday afternoon inside their home in the 8500 block of Laramie. Officers did find a firearm nearby. After another state budget summit among the 4 legislative leaders and the governor, the 2 sides are not budging toward a deal as the end of the year approaches. AM 560's David Stewart has details on the non-talks.
Illinois Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno says the Democrats show no urgency.
I don't think doing nothing is a viable option.
But House Speaker Michael Madigan says the governor's insistence on anti-union reforms is what's created this crisis.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage the governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
Madigan has offered to form legislative groups to develop bills on Rauner's reforms. Most of the current budget expires at the end of the year. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
State employees in Illinois have at least another year to try and carve out a few more weeks, to try and carve out a new labor contract before the end of the year. A judge in St. Clair County yesterday blocked Governor Rauner from imposing his final offer on AFSCME members. Illinois Labor Relations Board, you may recall, has said there is a budget impasse and the governor can order changes to the contract. The president of the University of Illinois and its 3 campuses cannot legally serve as sanctuaries for immigrant students illegally living in the country, despite pressure to do so. President Timothy Killeen said yesterday that the university will uphold state and federal law and will not declare campuses as sanctuaries, as the concept is not specified and may jeopardize the institution. Chicago sports, All-Star Chris Sale joining the Boston Red Sox, leaving the South Side. Boston acquiring Sale yesterday for a package of key prospects, 4 of them. Jimmy Butler, 32, but the Pistons winners over the Bulls, 102-99. Marian Hossa, 2 goals. Blackhawks blank Arizona 4-0. Fighting Illini winners over IUPUI, 85-77 behind 32 from Malcolm Hill. The news, a service of Let Us Entertain You, the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is excited for our future.
The picks have generally been superb. I'm actually excited for America by the picks for his cabinet. Very, very important stuff who he has around him. There is no conservative who could have made a better cabinet. There is none. And I think that the credit needs to be given there.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're partnering with Food for the Poor to help raise money to provide food and water to impoverished children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. As you probably know, when Hurricane Matthew rolled through Haiti a few months ago, it decimated a country that was already the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The need right now is overwhelming.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need. And 95 cents of every dollar they receive goes directly to the field, helping children and families.
Here's how you can help. A donation of $50 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti. $50. That's all it takes to change a life.
To make that gift this Christmas season, just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-3663. 3663 or go online and visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
Michael Stahl is my guest. He's the vice president of Health Markets. Health Markets is trying to make this crazy Medicare system easier to understand. Would you explain how it works?
So Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save their money. Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options out there, it can be confusing. So my advice is to don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to help find a plan. It may cost less, it may cover more, with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision care, and the freedom to see the doctors you choose. Best of all, Medicare assistance is free. Our licensed agents can do the work for you, making the process really easy. The Medicare enrollment deadline is only weeks away, so it's important to act now.
Call Health Markets today.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-246-3290. That's 800-246-3290. 800-246-3290.
That's Lisbeth. She doesn't know it, but she owes her life to a change in public opinion. Our younger generation of women is turning the tide of public opinion concerning abortion. The most recent statistics show that more women facing unwanted pregnancies are choosing life compared to 15 years ago. Many wonder why, if a pregnant woman and her unborn child are murdered, it's a double homicide. Yet they ask, why isn't abortion a crime? More women now value life, even if their unwanted child is to be placed for adoption, because they may feel like they can never forgive themselves of an abortion, even if the law does. Lake County Right to Life, helping young women choose courage over convenience. LCRTL.org. That's LCRTL.org. Visit Lake County Right to Life on Twitter and Facebook, or call 847-223-7022.
5:09, let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. We say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On the southwest side, got a fire. This is right in the area near Cermak and Costner. Reagan Tollway westbound in DeKalb County. Crash at Peace Road in the right lane. Otherwise, things are kind of quiet on the expressways and tollways. There is still some road work. The outbound ride from 91st to the split in the two left lanes. More work on the outbound Bishop Ford. No significant delays. Traffic service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy and breezy today, high 29, then a mostly cloudy and breezy night, low 16. Few flurries tomorrow, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, high 25. Turning out partly cloudy at night, low tomorrow night, 17. Friday, clouds and sun, high 23. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 25 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Next news at 5:30, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump's thank you tour came to Fayetteville, North Carolina last night, where he introduced Mad Dog Mattis.
Yeah, he sure did.
Much to the joy and celebration of the attendees. And, there was kind of a pro forma Trump rally event other than that. But
kind of low key for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It was a little,
It's been a busy transition.
And Congress is going to approve it. Congress will make it happen.
And one of the big stories yesterday, though, rolling into that thank you tour, was Trump on Boeing, Chicago-based Boeing. I mean, kind of their corporate offices here. Of course, when they build assembly plants, they build them in places like Charleston, South Carolina, not
right to work states, not union,
not
states.
Illinois.
Or Illinois.
But Donald Trump on Boeing had this to say.
You tweeted this morning about canceling the contract for the new Air Force One. Is that something you're serious about trying to do?
Well, the plane is totally out of control. It's going to be over $4 billion. It's for Air Force One program. And I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money. Okay, thank you.
The last time he talked about a big problem with the plane, it was the one Mike Pence was on.
Right.
So Mike Pence was in a...
I love that. We got to find that soundbite. There's a little bump, but he's okay. He was in a bit of an accident with a plane, but he's okay. That's what he said.
Yeah.
We got to find that.
So
that is my favorite Donald Trump.
The plane is out of control. Air Force One out of control. Not with reference to its performance in the sky, with respect to its costs, is what Trump is saying. Shouldn't cost $4 billion.
But does he know what's really on? Has he ever personally been on Air Force One? He doesn't know about all the bells and whistles on Air Force One, the satellites and the protections that they have and things that are so top secret they can't even discuss.
Well, I mean, do you find Trump's remarks offensive in any way? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA is our turnkey.pro text line. I mean, the military and military contractors are not immune from accountability, from performance review, from an examination of cost. And so, you're right. There's improvements, for example, that have needed to be made as technology can enhance safety and communication. But
Air Force One was rolled out in 1981. It's old. It needs a little update.
Well, there have been upgrades since then, obviously.
Right, but the aircraft is from...
But to the point of those upgrades, after 9/11, George W. Bush didn't have truly secure communication on Air Force One. So he could make a direct call to, say, Vlad Putin, but he didn't have kind of comprehensive secure communications. This was one of the things that has been addressed subsequently. And, of course, as I said, as we have more, as we have technological advances, then you just have more opportunities to create a safe space, if you will, in Air Force One. And more importantly, not more importantly, but equally, a communication center. If the president, if the vice president need to scramble. So there's
the Air Force One secretary, she came out and said it's a flying White House.
Yeah, understood. But it still doesn't mean
in terms of security.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it should cost $4 billion. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I say again that military. I mean, the Pentagon is famous for the $700 screwdriver and the $400 toilet seat too. Remember, so the idea that the Pentagon should be immune from procurement review and from efficiencies, from getting the best bang for our buck. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't know if Trump is right or not, in point of fact. He's right about the number. He's right about the $4 billion number because that's the recapitalization budget for Air Force One. So he's right about that. And if there are savings to be achieved, then there's nothing wrong with that. And frankly, as conservatives, we shouldn't, just because we want a strong national defense and we want military readiness, preparedness that we don't currently have, it doesn't mean that we should be spendthrifts when it comes to military spending.
Well, is this Donald Trump, though, just bullying another business?
You need to remove that word from your lexicon because it's
the
being...
Chicago Tribune's even saying that because the Tribune 22 hours ago wrote an article about the
Chicago
CEO
Tribune saying it.
No, the CEO of Boeing, and about how his foreign policy is going to affect international trade. And then a few minutes later, after Donald Trump allegedly read that article, then he tweets out about Boeing.
Yes. Bullying has become a word that has no meaning because of overuse and misapplication. Bullying.
All right, then I'll take my rhetoric.
This is not, a couple of teenagers on Facebook. So let's use serious rhetoric.
This is because Donald Trump is retweeting teenagers. I mean, he read this article from the Tribune that focused on Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg.
Well,
and then he turned around and CBS was reporting that this morning. CNN was.
Excuse me. Assuming facts, not in evidence. I know about the column in the Tribune where Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg is quoted, and he says, "I'm not a political pundit or a prognosticator. We have too many of those, but anyone who paid attention to the recent campaigns and the election results realizes that one of the overarching themes was the apprehension about free and fair trade. He argues that international trade is essential to the U.S. economy, and he suggests the Trump team and Congress back off the 2016 anti-trade rhetoric and perceived threats to punish other countries with higher tariffs and fees."
Do you think that pokes the bear?
That is not a unique position in corporate America or from the free market conservative right. So is that what prompted his tweet? Perhaps. I don't know. And unless you've had a conversation with Trump, you don't either, because he has made no formal connection. Let's say it was, for the sake of argumentation. Okay. And so, is the substance of raising the issue of cost out of line? It is not, in my opinion. What is out of line about
it? How much should it cost?
Don't know.
We don't. Well, I know. I don't have comparative figures here to see how much really Air Force One should cost.
Right. Exactly.
$4 billion, yes, it seems like a lot, but I don't know how much 747s go for these days.
And that is the point, that nothing should be immune from review. And if we can reduce the cost of something while still delivering what needs to be delivered, that's a good thing. That's what you're supposed to get from leadership. Right. Efficiencies. So,
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's just everything just has to be so overhyped. Why don't you just take a step back, however, the quality of Trump's rhetoric is, and just say, oh, okay, if he's saying that there's a possibility to save some money in this relatively small area of our overall national security defense budget, okay, fine. And if he disagrees with the Boeing CEO about trade policy, which he clearly does, well, that's fine too.
But it just seemed like a knee-jerk reaction, and that he's so thin-skinned that if anybody criticizes him just a little bit, he's going to fight back via Twitter. It's what he does. I mean, Boeing is building a brand new 747 Air Force One for future presidents, but costs are out of control. More than $4 billion. Cancel order! !
Cancel order probably was unnecessary because I'm not sure that he knows what you need to pay for what you need to get with respect to Air Force One. But just the whole, everything has to be this kind of, filter through this prism of bullying and, God, it's just so tiresome.
It affected their stock. Their stock dropped and then it regrouped.
Yeah. So does, yeah, right. When the president talks, it has an impact, and it's fleeting. By the way, the people I'm not a huge fan of Trump on Twitter all the time, and I've talked about Trump's inartfulness and imprecision with language for the last year. But, the people that complain most about this, get most overwrought about the Trump tweets and complain about him being sophomoric, are exhibiting the same conduct that he is. So, doctors, cure thyself a little bit here. Earl and Roselle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I love your show.
Thank you.
Riggs.
Got a question. We don't know how much the plane cost. We guess about $4 billion. But I wonder how much of that is pork that was built into the project that we don't know about.
Well, thanks for the caller. I mean, this is the point. First of all, there's obviously a letting process. This isn't waving a wand and Boeing pushes a piece of paper with $4.7 billion on it across the table, some procurement officer at Defense. So there's a contracting and letting and procurement process.
Well, it runs this project. It's $3.2 billion. And it's already started rolling out. 210 between 2010 and 2020. And 2020 is when those two 747s are supposed to be completed.
Yeah, okay. So that doesn't mean that the procurement process is not does not have exposure to abuses. It doesn't mean that the oversight is what it needs to be because of the historic kind of classical examples I mentioned before of Defense Department overspending because of bureaucratic process. The Pentagon is a massive bureaucracy. And just because it has military throughout doesn't mean that it achieves market efficiencies with respect to cost. And so that's why it should be examined. We should try and maximize every tax dollar that's spent, whether it's on social welfare programs or military. What's wrong with that?
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today it's going to be cloudy, breezy, cooler than we're used to, a high of 29 degrees. So the temperature is actually going to fall a little bit. We're at 30 right now. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, a low in the teens. And then brace yourselves. Tomorrow it's going to be mostly cloudy, breezy, and a few flurries, a high of 25 degrees. Let's get those travel times, any overnight road work. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. There is overnight work on the outbound Ryan from 91st to the split in the two left lanes, and more work on the outbound Bishop Ford farther south, blocking a couple of left lanes in two spots, but traffic's moving pretty well there. We're seeing slight delays inbound both the Ryan and the Bishop Ford. About 2 minutes worth of delays on each of those expressways. Elsewhere, it's pretty quiet. Kennedy Express lanes are now open inbound. No issues there. Edens is fine, so is the Eisenhower, so is the Stevenson. Tollways are good. I'm Jim Talamonte, the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, Dan Proft here, gentlemen. This time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. Stress is associated with low testosterone and can worsen symptoms like fatigue, trouble sleeping, and can affect your mood. I personally recommend going to a Low T Center. They make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance and has flexible hours, including Saturdays, so don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Call 630-409-4305. That number, 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
As the weather gets colder, you can't help but dream about spring and the warmer times of the year. Sure, the holidays are great, but another Chicago winter? Now is the time to look forward to and plan your warm weather special events like golf outings and weddings at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Make wonderful memories. Enjoy the beautiful outdoor setting overlooking fountains and a lake. The perfect intimate atmosphere for your special day. The Bolingbrook Golf Club can accommodate 8 to 800 guests any time of the year, but spring and summer book fast. Go online now. BolingbrookGolfClub.com. Book your 2017 wedding or golf outing and receive 5 days and 4 nights at the Grand Mayan in Nuevo Vallarta or Puerto Vallarta with a master room and 2 rounds of golf at the Jack Nicklaus Design Course from Vedanta Resorts. Package includes hotel stay only and does not include airfare, ground transportation, or food and beverage, and is valued at $1,300. Restrictions apply. Speak with sales team for details. Log on to BolingbrookGolfClub.com and start planning. The Bolingbrook Golf Club, exceeding your expectations since 2002.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, the plane. The airplane.
Yes. Robert Hayes not on this airplane. No. Dan and Amy talking about Trump's comments on Boeing. One other thing on topic. Trump also announced yesterday that he had secured a $50 billion investment by Japanese bank SoftBank Group. and its CEO, Masayoshi Son, $50 billion.
I thought I was supposed to say his name.
Oh.
Mashiato-san.
Masayoshi Son.
Son.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was with him
That is so
yesterday.
racist.
No,
that accent. I mean, as you go with your El D'Amato again. Every time there's an Asian name.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yes.
I'm not racist. I'm just out
You
of
just
touch.
you just like pronouncing Asian names.
I love it.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Odd job over there. That's projected to result in 50,000 jobs. Trump called Son one of the great men of industry, was quick to celebrate the deal on Twitter.
And they had him at the Trump Tower, too. Remember, they were walking off the elevator together?
So here's the thing about that. He's right. That's great. It's good news. Foreign investment in the United States. So stop demagoguing trade deficits. So this is the intellectual inconsistency of Trump and of mercantilism. On the one hand, he complains about America's trade deficits and tells us that Mexico, Japan, and China are crushing us and killing us, and they rip us off and laugh at us. On the other hand, he welcomes $50 billion in quote-unquote vital capital-creating, job-generating foreign investment for a better America that is only possible because of our trade deficits with Japan that he foolishly laments. This a good roundup on this by Mark Perry over at Carpe Diem. So, yeah, it's worth noting some of these phrases politicians throw around and what the underlying economics are, two very different things. What they understand them to be and what they are, two very different things. And so just understanding trade deficits, a number of economists have opined on this, including Don Boudreaux over at Cafe Hayek and Grant Mankiw, who's over at Harvard. America's merchandise trade deficits almost always offset exactly on a dollar-for-dollar basis with capital-creating, job-generating foreign investment surpluses. Where will Japan's $50 billion capital inflow in the U.S. come from? How did Japan acquire $50 billion in investment capital that is now coming back to America to create 50,000 jobs here? Most likely, it can be traced to America's trade deficits with Japan, which have averaged about $70 billion annually in recent years. Connect the dots, people, and President-elect Trump. That's my point. Joe in Worth, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. Love your show. I listen a lot. I was just kind of listening a little while ago about Dan. You were kind of chewing up Amy a little bit about Trump bullying and it shouldn't be used and all of that. You know what? It's a little ironic that you were kind of bullying Amy around that conversation.
Everybody's getting bullied. Everybody's getting bullied. Thanks for the call, Joe. Appreciate it. Amy, is there anything more you'd like to say so I don't get accused of bullying?
Yeah. Stop bullying me.
Bullying.
Oh, it's all. We don't ever have kids because when you go to an elementary school, it's all over the walls.
They're going to be homeschooled.
There's little buttons. Yes, your hypothetical children are going to be homeschooled.
They're going to be virtual children and they're going to be homeschooled. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, talking about the Boeing deal, I don't know what a Boeing Air Force One jet costs because I never bought one. But the fact of the matter is, here's something that would benefit him directly, having every bell and whistle. And yet he's saying, you know what, this is too expensive. So this is outstanding news to a guy like me that's actually in the finance world, because it's a shot across the bow to all of his departments saying, you know what, we want to do a lot of things, but you know what, we better do them at cost. We're not going to have a lot of fat, and I think that's where he's going to come in with a lot of tax savings. In other words, he's saying, if we're going to do a project, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to do it efficiently, not just throw billions and billions and billions of dollars at things that no one even knows what the true cost of the project is because they're just putting in a bunch of fluff into the thing. So I think this is outstanding news.
Thanks for the call, Ed. On time and under budget, right? Or ahead of schedule and under budget. Patty on the Northwest Side.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Just to add to sentiment, liberals are always complaining about, big corporate and fat cat CEOs lining their pockets, but now it's all of a sudden bullying when Trump is saying it costs $4 billion. Right. And you answered it, we don't know how much it costs, so why not look at it? And now why are the liberals all of a sudden, oh, that's bullying, when all along they're saying these CEOs are fat cats and just lining their pockets for profit?
Yeah, good point, Patty.
point.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, if Trump said the sun set in the west, the left would say
No, it doesn't.
right.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You're never too old to learn something new, especially when it concerns your golden years. Join North Shore Capital Group at their retirement educational classes held at local colleges in your community. Each class is an interactive workshop that's held over 2 sessions and includes a workbook for you to keep and follow. Instructor Victor Rigoni will provide you with the tools and guidance to help you reach your personal finance retirement goals. At the end of the full class, you'll receive an opportunity to book an independent, complimentary consultation so that you can implement a proper retirement strategy. It's never too late to educate yourself about retirement. Call North Shore Capital Group, 312-260-7929. That's 312-260-7929 to find a workshop near you. North Shore Capital Group Incorporated, an independent firm with securities offered through Summit Brokerage Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, and advisory services offered through Summit Financial Group, Inc., a registered investment advisor. 847-735-9200, 250 East Illinois Road, Suite 201, Lake Forest, Illinois, 60045.
Now, if Trump said the sun set in the west, the left would say he's bullying the sun. That's what they would say.
Lay off the sun.
Exactly. And go to upstream-ideas.com. It's a website that features premium content, which complements what we do here on this show. Interviews, long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers. Amy recites Asian names. We have that segment on Upstream-Ideas. That's coming soon.
It's the kicker segment.
Yeah,
on
that's
Upstream
coming soon. Podcast of our Sunday show, Illinois Rising, which features a focus on state of Illinois politics and policy. Man on the Street interviews to see if people can follow the logic. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You think Boeing may have some cost overruns. How about the Chicago public school system at 538?
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a strong earthquake rocks Indonesia's Aceh province. Quake killed 100 so far. Sparked a frantic effort to pour through the rubble. Dozens of collapsed and damaged buildings have come down. Dozens while dozens were pulled alive from the rubble in Aceh province. That's a developing story we'll follow for you this morning, as well as today marking the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Ceremony will be held in Hawaii to remember the day in 1941 when Japan attacked American ships docked at a naval base in Honolulu.
With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
FDR in the days following that attack that killed over 2,400 people. President-elect Donald Trump continues to go about the business of filling up his cabinet. Last night, Trump officially announced he would nominate retired Marine General James Mattis for Secretary of Defense.
This is why I'm proud to formally announce today my intention to nominate General James Mad Dog Mattis as the next Secretary of Defense.
Fire chief in Oakland, California, declaring a local state of emergency there as search and recovery operations continue at the site of last week's deadly warehouse fire. Several students at a suburban high school became sick after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance have been hospitalized, and autopsies are scheduled later today for a husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. Chicago sports, All-Star Chris Sale joining the Red Sox and leaving Chicago's South Side. Jimmy Butler, 32, in the Pistons win over the Bulls, 102-91. Marian Hossa, 2 goals in the Blackhawks victory over Arizona. The news, a service of American Express. Hey, American Express card members, you don't want to miss this. Now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small at local stores in your neighborhood. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says we need to listen to our defense specialists.
In this Ohio State attack, you had a Somali man, Abdul Artan, a student at the university, Somali refugee, And I kept saying, well, why aren't we listening to our National Intelligence Director, Clapper, and our House Homeland Security Chairman, McCall? Because they all said radical Islamists will infiltrate the refugee populations.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
B-Dubs makes buying holiday gift sets easy by giving you a free bonus card when you buy $25 worth of their holiday gift cards. It's the gift that gifts you back. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:37 and a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southwest side firefighters are battling a blaze at Cermak and Costner. On Stevenson, heavy Harlem to Central, just a 1 or 2 minute delay. Ryan, 17 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Aidens and the Kennedy are still clear. Inbound Eisenhower, just a little congested around Manheim. The tollways are good. The traffic this morning is a service of Let Us Entertain You. Give the gift that fits all appetites. A Let Us Entertain You gift card. Receive a free $25 holiday bonus for every $100 in Lettuce gift cards you buy. Simply visit a Lettuce restaurant or LEYE.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, colder, 29 today, and a low of 16 overnight. 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So you think it's just defense contracting that needs some oversight and perhaps rethinking of how money is spent and the return on investment that it yields? Well, the Chicago Public School System. In the news again this week because Governor Rauner vetoed drop shipping another $215 million of everybody's money to shore up a soon-to-be insolvent Chicago Teachers Pension Fund, because you have an insolvent Chicago public school system that is struggling to make the required pension contribution, particularly because...
It's not what I heard at the soccer party last night.
Well, okay, we'll listen to the soccer party silliness in a second, but particularly because CPS is unwilling to make teachers pick up their share of the pension contribution that goes to their pension. What's the pension for a CPS teacher? $73,000 a year.
And they're responsible for how much of that?
They're responsible for it's a total contribution on the employer side of about 9%.
Oh gosh!
And
that's a great gig.
the teachers pick up 2 percentage points of that 9%. So
are there any other place in the world or in the state that you could work that you can get that kind of a deal?
No. And here's the deal, just aggregate numbers. Total contributions and benefits for a career. Teachers will put in about this is Chicago only.
Okay.
Teachers will put in about $133,000 over a 30-year career. Actually, they'll put in about 40, remember, because they're not paying a third of what.
Right.
Really a fourth. But let's call it 40 grand.
All right. So over a 30-year career, a CPS teacher would put in 40 grand.
No, I'll even give them 133. They'll say fine,
Okay.
whatever the scheme they've got with their employer, 133 grand. Average total benefits and retirement they'll receive from that at 133 grand, $2.074 million.
What?
Yeah. To provide a bit of comparison, so you have some context here, the amount a private sector worker would need in his retirement account to receive such a benefit, to be able to pay himself or herself 73 grand a year over the course of a lifetime, retiring at, standard retirement age, 65. Chicago public school teachers getting out a little earlier, if they get their 30 in. But the average $1.484 million. So in order to receive a $2.074 million lifetime benefit, the private sector worker who's similarly situated to the Chicago public school teacher would have to contribute $1.484 million. The CPS teacher, 133 grand. 15x.
Wow, that's a big difference.
15x. And Ronner vetoes sending another $215 million of everybody's money to that fund, which, by the way, they've conspired to skip payments and short fund the teacher's pension fund for years and years and years. Those were decisions made at the local level because they were having fun with people's money. And now it's everybody's responsibility, their lack of fiduciary responsibility. And he's defunding the Chicago public schools. He's stealing money from teachers. Isn't that what your soccer party folks are saying?
That's what they said. They said he's so corrupt. Did you hear the latest thing that he did?
He's corrupt.
Oh, he's corrupt. Ronner's corrupt by denying teachers their pension. And that inadvertently, that's going to hurt. Are you ready for this, Tin? Eventually, that's going to hurt the children because the teachers are going to leave and go to the suburban schools because of the pension mess, which some high-profile principals have, Lakeview High School, Lane Tech.
Yeah. Part of the problem is a lot of CPS teachers are not going to go to the suburbs.
No.
Because
they like the money. They know that it's coming. So why start over somewhere else?
Well, there's also the fact, and I haven't seen recent data on this, but not so long ago, there was a study of CPS teachers that found 1 in 10 could not pass a basic skills test so simple that a high school freshman should be able to pass it. 10%. It's small. I mean, it's a small percentage, but 10% of 30,000 is 3,000 teachers.
I received an email once from one of my sons when he was in 4th grade, one of the teachers, and I showed it to our program director, Marcus Brown, and we couldn't. We first of all, we weren't sure if it was written in English.
Unintelligible.
Completely unintelligible. I mean, it was, and I'm not going to say the teacher's name, and I'm not a snitch. I don't go to the principal. Like, do you see that she can't write a coherent sentence?
So, some of them are, this is as good as it gets, and it's pretty good. Oh, here's
the other teacher. I mean, I do love, there's some teachers that are wonderful educators out there that, they're with our children more than we are.
I mean, look, I say this all the time because any discussion of the financing of K through 12 education and from the unenlightened, you get, you hate teachers, you hate kids. Right. Okay. So my view is a great teacher is like a great artist. I've always held that view. I've written about it extensively. I mean, a great teacher.
Who's your favorite teacher?
I mean, I think of the artistry of great athletes to try and make it like Michael Jordan. A great teacher that can inspire children to get them on a path to lifelong learning, not just mastering the coursework in a particular class, but spark that intellectual curiosity, because that's what education is, as Yeats said, right? It's not the filling of a pail, it's the lighting of a fire. And teachers that can light the fire of intellectual curiosity in kids, they are artists.
Oh, yeah. Mine was Terry Safone. Who was your favorite teacher? Do you have a few of them?
Yeah, it's so many good teachers. I think I mentioned before Dan Nagus, who was or Mr. Nagus.
Yes, excuse me.
I don't mean to be so familiar. Was my America Since 45 teacher in high school. And I was also a golf coach. Great teacher. Peter Paul, because I really like history and political science.
You did? Wow.
Yeah. So
I've had you pegged wrong all this time.
Peter Paul, who's another history teacher, these are both teachers at Bennett, great teacher, made history really come alive, not to be cliche about it, but he really did. But it was a robust course in addition to that. But it made you want to read more about the historical figures, about the historical events. It made you want to do independent study, which is the point, or at least it's a large part of the point.
For Terry Safone, for me, and Mr. Caparuso, they made me want to come to class and learn more every day. And just there was something about them that spark that they lit in every single student. I don't know what it was, but I mean, can you see me wanting to do math, geometry?
He
Terry Safone was the geometry teacher, and Mr. Caparuso was the history teacher.
So Terry Safone also, though, your prom chaperone.
Oh,
so she did extra duty.
Volleyball coach.
Yeah. So there
she
you go.
did do extra duty.
No.
But just a positive person, and was just always, I don't know, just changed the whole attitude in the classroom.
So there are great teachers at CPS.
Yeah,
we
there
know
are.
this. Of course there are. 30,000 teachers. Of course there are. But the CPS, the system is a criminal enterprise. It defrauds every single one of us. Most importantly, it defrauds the overwhelming majority of children in the system, locked in the system, discriminated against in the system based on their household income and address, locks them into terrible schools that prevent them from living successful, independent lives on their own terms. And we talked about this before, the big lies that CPS tells. One of them is on the financing. Another one of them is on enrollment. Last week, the announcement that 3 schools were going to be closed, and they were going to begin the process to close 3 schools. And we've talked about the fraud that CPS is committing. It'd be nice to see people held accountable, criminally accountable, for defrauding taxpayers by misreporting enrollment numbers to get more state tax dollars for students in CPS that don't exist. So since nobody...
For empty classrooms, do you
Yes.
have the list?
Well, the outlet, one of the outlets that I operate called Chicago City Wire, chicagocitywire.com, we did an analysis, my little team there, because you're never going to get this from the Chicago Press Corps, so we're going to build our own castle. We're going to report the facts that they don't want you to understand. We looked at 59, the enrollments of 59 public high schools. The analysis finds 42% of those high schools, nearly half. I'm sorry, excuse me, 42 of the high schools, 42 of the 59 high schools, nearly 70%, less than half full. 12 had enrollments that are less than 10% of what they once served. Those 12, Team Inglewood, Harper, Fenger, Hirsch, Douglas, Robeson, Marshall, Manly, Bowen, Gage Park, Hope, and Bronzeville. Team Inglewood had just 161 students, according to CPS 2016-17 10-day school census data published in September. The school's attendance rate is 74%, meaning 122 students show up for classes on any given day. And it's a school building at 6201 South Stewart in Inglewood that once housed more than 5,100 students. 122 today. Harper has 172 students, once had 4,400. Fenger, 223, once had 5,300. Hirsch, 147, once had 3,280.
This sounds like Detroit.
In
what they had to do, they combined high schools. And you just show up one day to go to high school, and it was shut down and pointing an arrow of where your new high school is.
Well, and here's the thing. This is why, this is why I go back and say it's never about we don't know the facts and we're not sure what to do. It's all political will problems. You have little tiny dancer who's a punk, and you have a complicit Chicago City Council, 50 trained SEALs like it's been for 100 years, who go along with whatever as long as you protect their phony baloney jobs and their 6-figure salaries. In 1966, CPS enrollment was 607,000 and growing. Then the district had 53 high schools. In 2016-17, 381,000 students and falling, and the 381,000 is what's reported. That should be audited. CPS operates 95 high schools. So in 1966, 607,000, 53 schools. In 2016, 380,000, 95 high schools.
So it's doubled the amount of high schools, but it's drastically reduced on the
Yeah,
number
I
of
mean, they're
students.
basically going, population is going down, high schools have gone up. So both are going in the wrong direction if you're going to right size to the population that actually exists to be served.
So this sounds pretty fraudulent because if they need the numbers to receive state funding,
that's why.
How are they even staying afloat? I mean, with no, like Fenger High School, how is that place still open?
Well, right. Why is it still open is
Right.
the real question. This is why the enrollment should be audited. And you want to talk about the bankrupt CPS, why they run billion-dollar deficits. Well, in part, they operate buildings and schools as Potemkin villages. I mean, there's virtually nobody there, but they pretend that Harper still has 4,400 kids and Fenger has 53 and Hirsch has 3,280 when it's 172, 223, and 147. So they staff them like those numbers still exist. They devote the resources to maintaining those buildings like those numbers still exist to keep 95 high schools open for about 60% of the student population as compared to 50 years ago. Why? Because it's about politics. It's not about running a school system that educates children. It's not about being judicious with the limited tax dollars, both locally and from the state, that CPS receives. I mean, if they want to save money, then why don't you right-size your district at minimum? That's your starting point, isn't it? So remember these numbers when you hear moralizing from Tiny Dancer and his Toady Forrest about what you're not doing to maintain the lifestyle that CPS has become accustomed to.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all of our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with a medical alert device from Alarm Detection Systems. Setup is easy, and 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring is included. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
Looking to secure financing on a new home, or if you want to refinance your existing mortgage, then you should do what I did, and that's called David Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. Now, listen up. If you're purchasing a home, you may qualify to receive up to $20,850,000 that you don't have to pay back. You heard me. David has a lender who's giving qualified borrowers up to $20,850, which can be used for the down payment, closing costs, and to eliminate PMI. Wait, there's more. The funds can also be used by borrowers looking to refinance their homes to eliminate PMI. There are no income limitations, but the program is only available with certain areas or in certain areas of Cook, DuPage, DeKalb, Kane, and Lake counties in Illinois, and Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Racine counties in Wisconsin. So if you'd like more information on this outstanding new program from a lender that'll always look out for your financial best interest, call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're partnering with Food for the Poor to help raise money to provide food and water to impoverished children and families in Haiti and Guatemala. As you probably know, when Hurricane Matthew rolled through Haiti a few months ago, it decimated a country that was already the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. The need right now is overwhelming.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need. And 95 cents of every dollar they receive goes directly to the field, helping children and families.
Here's how you can help. A donation of $50 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child in Haiti. $50. That's all it takes to change a life.
To make that gift this Christmas season, just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-3663, or go online and visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz, at Automated Systems when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A Dem congresswoman from California says rational, serious people, top people, are talking about secession.
And later, it's an interview you have to hear. Should we have mercy on the man who owns that warehouse in Oakland, California? But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Naperville high school students are hospitalized this morning, 11 of them, after eating tainted gummy bears. Husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. The investigation continues there this morning. Illinois lawmakers in another stare down over the budget. University of Illinois will not become a sanctuary campus. Trump street signs officially removed from the city of Chicago. Former Bear Rashaan Salam has been found dead. White Sox trade Chris Sale to Boston. Pistons turn back the Bulls. And a cloudy, breezy, and colder day ahead. Full forecast after Fox. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
We seek peace through strength.
President-elect Trump focused a lot on the military, taking his thank you tour to North Carolina last night, even introducing his pick to lead the Pentagon. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Mr. Trump called General James Mattis one of the most effective generals in many decades at the rally in Fayetteville, a city with a large military population. The president-elect also promised to build up the military and
defeat the forces of terrorism. And we're going to defeat it strongly and quickly.
Sources say Mr. Trump has offered the job of ambassador to China to Iowa Governor Terry Branstad. China's foreign ministry called him an old friend and said it welcomes Branstad to play a greater role in advancing the development of China-U.S. relations. Dave.
Rachel, Pearl Harbor survivors are gathered in Hawaii 75 years after the day President Roosevelt declared would live in infamy, the Japanese attack that dragged us into World War II.
We felt the Oklahoma, we could feel something going on alongside of us. And then we felt the Arizona when it blew up.
Lester Lindau's a survivor. There will be a moment of silence in about 6 hours. An earthquake has rocked Indonesia. Buildings collapsed. Nearly 100 people were killed.
Rescue workers pull a body from the rubble. The quake measured 6.5. It struck before dawn when people were in their homes. Construction companies deployed excavators to try to lift rubble.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin in our Asia Bureau. The May today finished searching a charred Oakland warehouse for bodies. Investigators think a refrigerator may have sparked Friday's fire that killed at least 36 people. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf says they must
take aggressive and quick action to avoid any future tragedies again.
They're looking at building code violations as artists were living and working inside. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Partly cloudy, 25 degrees. Winds west at 14. That will give us a wind chill of 12 above this morning. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Several students at a suburban Chicago high school were sickened after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance. 13 students were taken from the school as of this morning. 11 remain hospitalized. Those students from Naperville North High School. Students told police they believed the candy was laced with some kind of liquid-based marijuana substance, but that has yet to be tested. Another state budget summit ends with a no resolution, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Illinois Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno says the Democrats show no urgency.
I don't think doing nothing is a viable option.
But House Speaker Michael Madigan says the governor's insistence on anti-union reforms is what's created this crisis.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage a governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
Madigan has offered to form legislative groups to develop bills on Rauner's reforms. Most of the current budget expires at the end of the year. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The president of the University of Illinois says its 3 campuses cannot legally serve as sanctuaries for immigrant students illegally living in the country in spite of pressure to do so. Authorities say a state Department of Motor Vehicles instructor is charged with sexually abusing a woman during a driving test in Chicago. The Tribune says Secretary of State employee 29-year-old Joshua Antwater was booked into jail on a felony charge of criminal sexual abuse. Prosecutors say the assault of a 32-year-old woman happened on November 10. University of Chicago campus police are investigating the discovery of posters featuring a picture of Adolf Hitler and swastikas in 2 locations on Monday. And city workers have taken down 2 Donald Trump honorary street signs near his downtown hotel and condominium tower. The Department of Transportation says the signs were removed from their post on Sunday. They say they do not know what was done with those signs. All-star Chris Sale joining the Red Sox and leaving the South Side for a package of 4 top prospects. Jimmy Butler had 32, and the Pistons win over the Bulls, 102-91. Marian Hossa, a pair of goals, and the Blackhawks win over Arizona. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. Winter weather can do a number on your ride's battery. Before that happens, you should head down to your local Napa Auto Parts store. They have a huge selection of batteries, including the Napa Legend battery, all at great prices. Keep your ride running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'd say the same thing to a billionaire that I would say to somebody making $30,000 a year.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The money you make, the money you earn, the money you invest, that's your money, damn it. And I think it's your duty, it's your right to do whatever you can do legally to limit what you give government, because we have a government that's too damn big.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
It is 6:06. Let's get a check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic's heavy out of the River Road toll to Cumberland and then from Foster to Lawrence. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine at 20. Edens is clear. The Eisenhower. 37 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. The delay from Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue. Outbound, it's 29 minutes, post office to Thorndale. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound good to Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30 minutes, 8094 to Merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy, Elmhurst Road to before the Des Plaines Oasis. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples can take care of all your personal and business holiday shipping in store with UPS 7 days a week with all the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and colder, high 29. Tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, and colder with a low 16. Mostly cloudy and breezy tomorrow with a few flurries, high 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 25 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Your next news is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money.
This is not profit. This is loss. This is a mass grave.
So for the families, can you...
I'm only here to say one thing, that I am incredibly sorry.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage a governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I want to get to this interview. The owner of the Ghost Ship. This is the building in Oakland. Tragic fire. What's the body count now? I don't
36, and
I
they
believe
believe
to be cold about it, but
no,
I mean,
36. And this morning we're learning that the fire more than likely started from an old refrigerator that was on the second floor.
So this is, of course, reminiscent of like the E2 nightclub disaster here, where 21 people were killed, trampled to death,
22
basically.
people. Yep, and that because they didn't have proper exits marked. Nobody knew where to go, so people trampled. It killed each other trying to get out.
And that wasn't a fire. That started when a bouncer pepper sprayed a patron, and then everybody thought it was like a gas attack, like a poisonous gas attack. I mean, this is in the era post 9/11 era. This was like 2003, and so they,
everyone went out the same exit.
Right, and it was blocked, and then they crushed each other. It's terrible.
And in this case, there were makeshift stairs. They used these wood pylons and made steps that were very steep from the first floor to the second floor, and that was the only way in and out of that place. And there was tons. It's an artist enclave. really, it was a crash pad for those, rejected by society, so to speak, who just wanted to it's a hippy dippy. It was kind of a commune, where people just lived if they were, wanted to perform at night and wanted to paint or recite poetry or be DJs.
Yeah. Okay. So right, like an artist commune. I think that's a fair description. And so, so the owner.
Well, he's the manager.
I'm the manager of the ghost ship.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, because the owners, they haven't said much.
No, they haven't said anything at all. But this man, he was the landlord.
Right.
He's the one who rented space to different artists and to different people who needed a place to shower.
Manage the property for the owners.
And so he decided to give his one and only interview to the Today Show yesterday morning. Tamron Hall from Chicago. Remember Tamron?
I remember Tamron.
I'm sure you do. And Matt Lauer. They started off with pleasantries. Good morning. How are you doing?
Derek Almana is the man who ran the so-called ghost ship. He is at the scene of the fire this morning and joining us now. Mr. Almana, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, 36.
It's not a good morning. It's not a good morning. What am I doing here? Can I just say I'm sorry? Can I just say... The only reason why I'm here is to put my face and my body here in front...
So it started off very rocky, and I thought, oh my gosh, how is this going to end? But they, took him to task. Are you to blame for the deaths of 36 people?
The family members of those who were lost want answers. They want to know who should be held accountable for their loss of their loved ones. Are you the man who should be held accountable?
Am I the man who should be held accountable? Did I build something that with the I mean, what am I going to say to that? Should I be held accountable? I can barely stand here right now.
Accountability is, he needs a definition of that word. That is not a word that is tossed around in the artistic community, left artistic community in particular.
But so he went on to explain what he provided for people in Oakland, California.
I laid my body down there every night. We laid our bodies down there. We put our children to bed there every night. We made music. We created art. We opened our home. What became our home, it didn't start off as our home. It started off as an initial dream, an idea that we would have a facility and a venue that would host everything from at-risk youth to the gay community, to artists that couldn't perform anywhere, to performance art, and eventually, when you can't pay your rent because your dream is bigger than your pocketbook, when the need for housing, when the need for people to be able to sit down and be warm and make food and take a shower and take a bath and go to bed. And so we created something together, This stopped being me. This wasn't about me 3 years ago. I signed a lease, and I got a building that was to city standards, supposedly.
Yeah,
but the city code didn't, you weren't supposed to have people sleeping there.
Yeah, right.
And you needed a permit to have parties. He ignored all of that.
The John Lennon lyrics aside, that he's conceding that he made that a residential space. And I know the building owners, to the extent that they've said anything, they've said that there were not residential tenants there. People were not sleeping there. It was a commercial space.
Right. And he turned it into something that it wasn't. But all right, so Tamron Hall asked him specifically about profiting off of the people that you housed.
We have someone who lived there, an artist who lived there for 2 years, Shelley Mack, and she said she rented a space from you, that you knew it was dangerous, that you profited from this and never spent a dime on anything but partying. What did you do to ensure this?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about me. I don't want to talk about profiting. This is profit.
What can you tell me you did to ensure the safety of those people who live there?
I laid my 3 children down there every night.
We understand that.
This is not profit. This is loss. This is a mass grave.
So for the families, can you...
I'm only here to say one thing, that I am incredibly sorry. And that everything that I did was to make this a stronger, more beautiful community and to bring people together.
Now, he's 47 years old. He is the father of 3 children. The 3 children did live in that warehouse. They weren't there the night of the fire because he took them to a hotel because he wanted them to get a good night's sleep because he knew there'd be a big party going on, a loud party throughout the evening. But the way that this ended, he really.
But he was there that night.
He was not there.
He was not. He
left. He left around 10:30. He left
before the fire.
Before
so
the fire
he was there,
started.
but until the
right.
fire.
And he took his kids
before
because
the
he's
fire.
like, you know what, this is. They need a good night's sleep. But listen to how this ends, because he really, I think he's made his point clear. He's not going to concede responsibility. And then he got a little frustrated at the end.
I'm not going to answer these questions the way that you're presenting them.
Mr. Almana,
I didn't
obviously,
do anything ever in my life that would lead me up to this moment.
can I ask you
I'm
if
an
you are?
honorable man. I'm a proud man. No, I'm not going to answer
Are
these
you-
questions on this
are you
level.
worried that
I
you
would
will
rather
be
get on the
charged?
floor and be trampled by the parents. I'd rather let them tear at my flesh than answer these ridiculous questions.
Mr. Almana,
I'm so
we'll
sorry. I'm incredibly sorry. What do you want me to say? I'm not going to answer these questions.
And then they just dropped the interview. But I mean, what a raw, real thing to say. Because as a reporter, you go out and you interview these people who've witnessed just horrible, tragic loss, and their family members or friends die. And when he said, they can trample me, rip my flesh, but I have nothing more to say.
Well,
And he faces
He-
criminal charges, and now I don't want him to face criminal charges.
well,
Because a bleeding heart Republican in me.
he has not been charged.
No,
yet.
he hasn't, but there's two separate investigations
Well,
going
right.
on, and I think, it's
So it's-
leaning towards that. And last year, he had his kids taken away from him because they were living in the warehouse, and they were reunited in June, and him saying that he's not going to live in the warehouse anymore. So that's another problem that he faces.
Well, I mean, to the comparison, I mean, it's not, of course, these things never are perfectly comparable fact pattern, but the owners of that E2 nightclub went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it'll start with the ownership of the building, the legal responsibility to maintain the property, to keep it to code. But in these cases, too, I'm always fascinated because everybody relies on government. And a building this big, that was that populated, that was such a center of the artistic community in Oakland, and Oakland city officials didn't know about it?
Yeah, they knew.
So what about, everybody, there's culpability is not limited to private ownership. It's not limited to government. But government shouldn't be immune to it either, right? I mean, if we have
Well, they all look the other way. There's so many complaints about garbage piling up, and then there was an RV in the back, another, the Sunshine family living in the back there. Everybody looked the other way.
So, well, that's where the investigation needs to include those with legal responsibility on the public sector side, too. Wouldn't that be interesting to understand what they knew and what they didn't, and what they did about it, and what they did not do about it? A full examination
The mayor of
rather than limited scapegoating.
Yeah, the mayor of Oakland, even, early on, before this became a criminal investigation, was, talking about, she knew about the place, too. She said, this is well known. People come from around the world come to have rave parties there. And
Well-
some stay. Like, it's a hostel.
Well, again, so let's look at the city's records on that property, and code enforcement officers, and what happened if and when the building was inspected. This goes back to, another example. This is the worst porch collapse in the history of the United States. All those
Wrigleyville,
DePaul
yeah.
students, right?
Yeah.
That were New Trier, mostly New
Yep.
Trier kids. What was it? 14 dead in that porch collapse.
It was awful. I still think about those kids.
Mark and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. It's very unfortunate what happened, but let's take a look where it happened. This is a bastion of liberalism, and a dollar to a dime says that if anybody tried to stop it, they would have been called mean conservatives for trying to put these people out. My bet is that the people of the city of Oakland knew about this the whole time, let it go, and then only after it blew up, like liberals do, they're going to scurry away and point fingers at everybody else. This shouldn't have happened. It's somebody else's fault, and it's their fault.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Oakland's never been the same since MC Hammer left. Here's the thing about that, though. I appreciate how badly this manager feels that was interviewed on the Today Show. But the strain through all of that is intentions. I had good intentions. I had this vision.
Right, it was a hippy dippy liberal love. It's just I was accepting people who weren't accepted by society.
I had this vision for an artistic community, and so then what my actions which could be determined to have been criminally negligent, they don't matter because I feel so bad about it that I'd rather be torn apart by the parents of those who lost children in that fire than want to answer questions about what I did or didn't do, the specific steps I took in managing the property in compliance with the law and in furtherance of everybody's safety on the property. Those are the hard adult questions that we don't hold people to because we don't hold our political leaders to them. Mm-mm. Everybody's feelings, that's all that matters is what I feel. And the road to hell, or perhaps in this case, the death of 36 people, is paved with good intentions. Ken and Lombard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan.
Morning.
Yeah. This gentleman that was being interviewed, this coherence level, it kind of reminded me of that photojournalist figure in the movie Apocalypse Now. It was played by Dennis Hopper. They're going, up the Mekong Delta to a Montagnard Special Forces base camp. And I don't know if you remember the interview that was given in the movie. It just, the coherence level just reminds me of that, that whole artistic aspect.
Yeah.
It just boggles the mind. And I think in that movie, I don't know if you ever seen the movie, but it just reminds me of something right out of that. It's just so out of control. I can't believe it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ken. It's a good reference. That is pretty spot on, actually.
They're releasing full complaints against the Ghost Ship warehouse. And there's apparently a vacant lot next door that was a homeless encampment.
Well, sure, of course. Now that this is under the microscope, everybody's going to rush to
3 complaints
cover
against
their
the warehouse
arses
in the past 30 years, they say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to print this up.
Will and Skokie.
Hey, how you doing? I'm a professional property inspector, and I see stuff like this all the time. The problem here is there's plenty of blame to go around for everybody. The city, the landlord, the guy who sublet it, the guy who was just on the radio who sublet it to the various people, the tenants. His wife said that they did electrical repairs to the place. If the place is that bad, they should just leave it. But they didn't want to leave it because they wanted a place to stay. They wanted a place to do their stuff. And it's just like with the porch collapse here in Chicago. I know for a fact that porch was inspected.
Mm-hmm.
It just when the thing collapsed, they went and got the report for the inspection and shredded it because they'd rather look incompetent than liable.
Yeah, right.
Got to remember that municipalities never have any responsibility. Illinois, the big thing for that porch collapse, the appellate court ruling, was that no code inspectors in the state of Illinois have any liability whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's the way it's going to be.
Thanks for the call, Will. Yeah, the sovereign immunity of the state, including at the local governmental level when it comes to matters like this, too, which perhaps is a cautionary example of why you shouldn't put so much blind faith in the state, not our betters, and not even our protectors in so many cases, like apparently in Oakland.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm going to print you out the list of complaints. One was there's a ton of garbage piling up on the property. People might be living inside. Some of the trash looks hazardous.
That garbage was art.
Oh, please. Forecast for today, cloudy, breezy, colder, a high of just 29 degrees. And then tomorrow, pretty much more of the same, but even a little bit cooler than that. We do have a chance of a few flurries, a high in the mid-20s. Let's go to the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. We have some delays on the South Shoreline this morning on the westbound side in Michigan City. There's been a collision involving Train 108 and a vehicle. Not sure yet how this is going to affect the other trains, but you can expect that they'll be delayed behind that one. Eden's inbound, heavy Devon to Wilson. 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Eisenhower's, 39 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 30. Stevenson now 49 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. The Ryan from 95th to downtown, clocking in at 25 minutes. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Elmhurst Road to the Des Plaines Oasis. That's the Tri-State to the Kennedy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer. AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, let's try and do some good work here, Amy, after having to pour over miserable stories. Something uplifting that you can do this Christmas season, this holiday season, is to join us in helping poor children and families in Guatemala and Haiti who are truly, literally on the brink of starvation in conjunction with our partnership with Food for the Poor. How does it work?
Well, here's what we do. You do. We're asking for a one-time donation of $50, and with that $50, you will be able to provide food for a child for a year and clean water for life. Now, the money raised by Food for the Poor helps purchase and deliver as food, water, and filtration supplies, and also vaccinations, medicine for the children, clothing, and other life-saving essentials directly to local organization Food for the Poor. They are on the ground. They have been there since 1982, and it's really just a wonderful charity that we've partnered up with this year. And the one-time donation, it takes just a few seconds to help so many. One-time donation of $50. Again, here's what you do. You call this number, 855-880-3663, and that spells out food, so 855-880-3663. Or you can visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food. Operators are standing by. It takes just a few seconds. You can make a donation on behalf of your well-fed children or grandchildren.
All right, and then the other way to help is by participating in our business benefactor program. We've done this before. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and you provide food for a year, water for life. Water for life, food for a year for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala. And because of your generosity, we want to respond in kind here at AM 560. We'll provide 40 60-second commercials to you that will air prime time on these airwaves between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. We want to thank the business benefactors who are already enrolled, including LPS Corp., C.H. Hansen, Packard Mortgage Corporation, AmeriCal, the Wright Real Estate Group, Critical Environments Professionals, all who are participating. To find out more and to enroll your business, all you need to do is call our Director of Sales. He is Michael Mann. And his number, direct number, 847-871-1527. The number again, Michael Mann, 847-871-1527, and they'll get you signed up.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice. Over a $100 value. Absolutely free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones. Perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Have you ever mistakenly deleted a file and gone into panic mode? Are you still trying to figure out cloud migration? Hey, do you know how to implement a hybrid integration? Well, if you want to save time and money, then let the professionals at Turnkey IT customize a solution that's sized just right for your company. For 20 years, locally owned and operated, Turnkey IT has become the brand businesses trust for their IT needs. Why? Because Turnkey IT understands small businesses just like yours. With monthly plans available for your team of 100 or a plan customized for your individual system, Turnkey IT has a solution. They even have equipment included if you want to go all in. Their team of professionals help users every day with network monitoring to a help desk to on-site support 24/7, 365 days a year. So stop worrying about your technology and let it work for you. Visit turnkey.pro today to see how simple and affordable it can be to focus on your business without worrying about the technical stuff. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
As Chicago Democrats' political clout dwindles, all they can do is take down Trump honorary street signs. We'll talk about it with Jonah Goldberg at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the army chief in Indonesia's Aceh province says the death toll from today's earthquake has jumped from 54 to 97. 4 have been pulled from the rubble alive. A Pakistani jetliner is missing. Air traffic controllers are afraid this morning that it has crashed. The Pakistani International Airlines plane was taking off and minutes later disappeared from radar. 40 were on board, destined for Islamabad. Today is the 75th anniversary of Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. 94-year-old Army Private Alex Horanzi was there. He remembers when the attack began.
We went to bed and we slept. We never got up for breakfast. Then we heard all kinds of noises and bombing and shelling.
More than 3,500 Americans died or were wounded in the attack on December 7, 1941. China happy this morning with Donald Trump's selection for U.S. ambassador to that country. Bloomberg reporting Iowa Governor Terry Branstad has accepted that position. Meantime, the president-elect will visit Central Ohio and meet with victims of the Ohio State University attack. It's a private meeting. Swedish home store giant IKEA will be giving paid family leave to all its U.S. workers. 14,000 or so workers at stores across the country will be able to take up to 4 months with pay to care for new babies. Investigators are homing in on a refrigerator and other electrical appliances as the possible source of a fire in Oakland in a warehouse that killed 36. Several students at a suburban Chicago high school who became sick after eating gummy bears have been hospitalized. 13 were treated at Naperville North High School. 11 remain hospitalized. White Sox deal Chris Sale to the Red Sox. Get 4 high-profile prospects in return, and the dealing is not done. Pistons over the Bulls, 102-91, while the Blackhawks beat Arizona 4-0. And in college baskets, it was the Fighting Illini over the Jaguars of IUPUI. The news, a service of Accountemps. Accounting and finance salaries are on the rise in 2017. So get an in-depth salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance roles in your area by visiting them at Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Has America's history been the result of a series of fortunate accidents? Is America great because of dumb luck? In his latest book, Michael Medved argues that something greater has been at work. Divine Providence. Join AM 560's Michael Medved for a special lunch on Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village as he tells the story of the American miracle. Get your tickets now at 560theanswer.com/miracle. That's 560theanswer.com/miracle.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof,
or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
6:37, let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. South Shoreline, you can expect some delays. Westbound, there's been a collision in Michigan City involving a train and a vehicle. The Edens runs 28 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. Eisenhower, 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32. Stevenson now 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Bryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Some scattered delays on the northbound Tri-State, the Veterans Memorial, at the Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic service of Staples. Staples can take care of all your personal and business holiday shipping in-store with UPS 7 days a week. All the packing supplies you need at great prices. Plus, from now until December 24th, get 10% off UPS shipping services. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, and colder today, high 29. Breezy and very cold overnight, low 16, and a few flurries tomorrow and a high of 25. 25 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, there's only so much Tiny Dancer and the ballet troupe that he's got, the 50 city council members, can do as their national political clout dwindles. Their state political clout has run into interference from Governor Rauner. So one thing they can do...
What is that?
After that aldermen like Brendan Riley.
He's your alderman.
Yeah, you can catch him. You catch him starting at about 1:30 at Boss Bar today. He does a happy hour there at Boss Bar from 1:30 in the afternoon to about 10:30 at night. So
Monday through Friday,
yeah.
or no, actually 24/7.
He's always happy to have you buy him a drink, or if you're a real estate developer, make a campaign contribution, including Donald Trump. Because he took a nice picture with the Trump family when Trump Tower went up.
Yeah.
Now he's leading the charge to have the honorary Trump Plaza signs removed from in front of Trump Tower over there in Wabash.
You mean Wabash?
And they have been.
Oh, yes. Sunday morning, 8 a.m., when nobody was looking.
And you thought it was the city that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
They got together, the collective will of 25,000 city employees under the leadership of Tiny Dancer, and they were able to accomplish removal of a couple of honorary Trump Plaza signs and send a real shot across the bow to the new administration as well, or I should not say as well, but while at the same time, according to Tiny Dancer, with respect to his phone call with Trump this week, demanding that he respect the sanctuary city status of Chicago. They're a funny bunch, these Chicago Democrats in charge of Illinois, aren't they?
What a misplacement of energy. I mean, what a waste of lawmakers' time to actually have, first they have the city council meeting to vote on it, and then to take down those two signs. And that third sign, Dan, that was stolen a half block south of Hubbard, remember it was stolen in October? They never bothered to check the surveillance camera to see who actually took it down, because it might have been Tiny Dancer himself.
Well, it could be. They also, since we're at about 740 murders, Chicago police have better things to do, thankfully, than follow the lead of the politicians. For more on incoming Chicago Democrats here, outgoing Chicago Democrats in D.C., and all things Trump, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Jonah Goldberg, senior editor for National Review, nationalreview.com, and Fox News contributor. Jonah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be here. That was a pretty forced transition there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was forced. Yeah, it really was. It's not my best. You know, I'm not like a TV weather person. I'm not good with the segues. So
banter, yes.
Why don't we start with just kind of the same conversation to some extent we had with Michael Medved yesterday. You were not the biggest fan of candidate Trump, but what is your assessment of President-elect Trump with respect to his cabinet selections thus far?
Well, I mean, just to be clear, I was not a big fan of candidate Trump, but unlike the left, I'm not, I'm not wetting my pants about this. My bowels are in a constant state of slow boil. You have only one president at a time, and I think the only patriotic, decent, intelligent position to take is give the guy a chance. And that said, and so the funny thing is, I woke up after the election feeling much better than I thought I would. If you had asked me a week before how you feel if Trump wins, I might have said, I think the living will envy the dead. But the reality is that it's great because, first of all, we're going to get a lot of stuff that every anti-Trump and every pro-Trump conservative cares about in terms of fixing Obamacare, getting rid of the executive orders, the Supreme Court, all that kind of stuff. But moreover, I actually think I'm one of the least biased people left in Washington because I have zero ownership of this guy. And so it's really incredibly liberating. When he does something right, I'm free to say so. And when and if he ends up being the guy I thought he was in the primaries or in the general election as a candidate and implodes, I get to say I told you so. So it's sort of like win-win for this guy. And so far, I think most of the cabinet picks have been really, really good. Or let's put it this way, I think some have been fantastic, some have been good, and some meh. I'm not a huge I think it was smart for Trump to have Steve Bannon in the White House, sort of on the LBJ style approach of saying it's better to have your enemies inside the tent pissing out. And I'm not saying that Bannon's an enemy of Trump's, but he can cause a lot more trouble as a rogue agent outside of the administration than in it. But he's probably the one I'm most critical of. I hear critical things about Mike Flynn for the job that he's been given. But Betsy DeVos is fantastic for education. Mad Dog Mattis for defense is a home run. Tom Price for HHS, fantastic. I do think that it's, on the flip side, I don't think there's any objective, reasonable argument, given the job description, to give Ben Carson the job at HHS.
At HUD, you mean?
I mean, at HUD, I'm sorry, yeah. There's no credible argument for it unless they have some major political outreach plan about, you know, this new deal for Black America and all that kind of stuff. But Ben Carson did not do a good job running his own campaign, running these PACs. There was a lot of sketchy business that he did there. And he knows literally nothing about HHS, which is just this huge check-writing operation. So I think in some ways that's sort of the worst one on the merits, but it's clearly a loyalty play. But all in all, you know, I mean, if they can get across their tax reform stuff and all that, I will be the first one out on the roadside, you know, holding up a Trump sign as the motorcade goes by.
So, Jonah, who do you want to see as Secretary of State?
You know, frankly, I care about this so much less. I mean, I think Donald Trump has kind of been brilliant at the way he has built up drama about this. He's turned it into, you know, Cabinet Apprentice. If you had asked me 3 weeks before the election, you know, would I like to see Mitt Romney, or 3 weeks after the election, would I like to see Mitt Romney as Secretary of State? I would have been like, why? I mean, I think Mitt Romney is an honorable and decent guy, but there's nothing in his past that says he's the obvious pick for Secretary of State. And so I think that this whole drama has been overblown. It's done a disservice to a lot of people. I think that the way Newt and some of these guys whine about Mitt Romney, what they're really doing is saying, hey, wait a second, I had to take so much crap for so long supporting Donald Trump, and then you're going to give it to this guy? They think that their sort of golden ticket of loyalty is being devalued by giving it to Mitt Romney, which I think is really lowering Mitt Romney as not lowering Mitt Romney. It's really sort of debasing Newt Gingrich. It's making him look very small and petty. But I think John Bolton makes the most sense. The job is twofold. It has to be about dealing with the world abroad in a serious and tough-minded way, and it has to be about fixing the bureaucracy at the State Department. And John Bolton is the only guy who knows anything about the bureaucracy at the State Department and has a somewhat, you know, simpatico philosophy with Donald Trump about foreign policy.
John, I know you wear a lot of hats, but I think there's a job posting that really is ideally suited for you, and maybe you could do it part-time, or maybe they could pay you enough money where you could put all of your worries away. It is inside the Beltway. Google, looking for someone who speaks Republican to act as a liaison between Eric Schmidt and all of the nerds at Google to all the conservative, libertarian, free market groups that they've heard so much about but don't know anything about in D.C. This is an actual job that Google has posted to try and get with the times. Isn't it interesting how Silicon Valley is recasting their position with respect to D.C.?
I hadn't heard about this, but it makes total sense. I mean, especially for someone like Eric Schmidt, who, you know, ran Hillary Clinton's data operation, which is really what put her over the top. And you get the sense that there are a lot of people. I mean, I always love this, regardless of party. After the election, the people who bet on the wrong horse, they're sort of like Ron Burgundy in the bear pit, and I immediately regret my decision. And it's fun to watch. I wonder what the job pays. I mean, I don't want it, but I can think of a few people who'd be pretty good at that.
Yeah, Conservative Outreach and Public Policy Partnerships Manager, huh?
Yeah, I could be like the mom from Leave It to Beaver in Airplane, you know. Excuse me, I speak jive.
Yeah,
I speak conservative.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you know, look, that's a nice title for a Google business card, and I think, you know, stock options, the whole thing. The only problem is you'd have to probably brief Eric Schmidt from time to time, and that'll be a laborious task.
Yeah, but that's a small price to pay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, speaking of going back to Trump and not just talking about Silicon Valley, but talking about corporate America generally, his shot across the bow at Boeing yesterday, you know, is he making a larger point that is lost on the D.C. press corps that just wants to follow the bouncing ball with every tweet?
Well, it's too soon to tell. I'm very much against the sort of instantaneous response we see from a lot of people on the right these days of anything Trump does, they automatically, brilliant! Oh, they're playing the media for suckers, right? And I'm also very much against the left's response and some people on the right's response, which is to say, this is the end of Western civilization. He's destroying America. He's destroying constitutional and democratic norms. It seems to me that most of these cases are somewhere in the middle. The immediate response from a lot of people to the Boeing thing was, this is a CEO. He's going to, he's imposing discipline on these crazy, grasping corporations. I'm not sure that's true. The timing of this came right on the heels of, like minutes after a story went up about the CEO of Boeing criticizing Trump's trade positions.
Yeah, and the
Seems to me
Chicago
the more
Tribune.
likely thing is that's what he is smacking down. It's not profligate spending, because Trump's facts on this are wrong for the most part. What he's trying to do is say, if you speak out against me, corporate America, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to ding your stock price. And I'm not sure that's a great thing for him to do.
Is it an abuse of power? I mean, I know Dan's rolling his eyes right now, but he's so thin-skinned. If he reads an article, he doesn't like what somebody says about him, then he tweets out and tries to attack the business owner. I don't know. I think there's a connection between the two.
There's some things in life, right, that have diminishing returns. And at some point, I think the press is going to figure out how to deal with his tweets. I think Trump is going to realize that they lose, for a while, this is all new. It's uncharted territory. It's exciting. It's weird. It's dramatic. It's certainly not, the excitement of an old lady eating soup that would have been the Clinton administration, that people are kind of freaking out because they don't have the muscle memory to deal with this stuff, because a lot of this stuff we haven't seen before. But my guess is that over time, a lot of Trump's act is going to get a little boring and a little old for people who are not, full Kool-Aid drinkers. And he'll learn that, using this Twitter account to try to whip up a frenzy or beat up on political opponents or impose discipline on dissent is a diminishing resource after a while. And the press is going to learn how not to chase every shiny thing. And at some point, I hope we find some kind of equilibrium. I mean, it's not going to be a normal presidency, but that doesn't necessarily mean, that this guy is Franco either. We just, you got to give him a chance. He's learning on the job, and I do think he's learning on the job. I don't think he expected to win. I'm positive he didn't expect to win, and he's, to his credit, I think he was a little sobered by the fact that he won, so he's surrounding himself with mostly good people, and for the most part, except for his Twitter account, he's been pretty disciplined and responsible. But I'm more worried, because I'm the kind of guy who thinks character is destiny, that what does Donald Trump look like a year from now when he takes it for granted that they play Hail to the Chief every time he enters the room and that he's the leader of the free world. I don't trust his instincts as much as a lot of his fans do, but I'm willing to give him a shot.
All right. He's Jonah Goldberg, senior editor at National Review and Fox News contributor. Jonah, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be here, guys. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Supreme Court siding with the government in several cases. Key economic reports out today. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A-plus Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
A big day of economic reports. Will have the latest data on consumer credit, job openings, and labor turnover. Also due on this busy Wednesday, weekly U.S. petroleum inventories. The Supreme Court ruling that sharing corporate secrets with friends or relatives is illegal, even if the insider providing the tip doesn't receive anything in return. The unanimous decision seen as a victory for prosecutors fighting corruption on Wall Street. A unanimous high court has also upheld a jury verdict that State Farm Fire and Casualty committed fraud against the federal government after the 2005 Hurricane Katrina. The justices rejected State Farm's claim that the whistleblower case should be dismissed. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain. I did not want to deal with the side effects of pain meds. There is absolutely no reason to suffer. There are ways to find a solution and get off the drugs. I definitely believe Dr. Candido found that for me, and immediately, he sat down with me, really wanted to find the source of the pain and really fix me. And, I've seen many doctors in my lifetime, obviously with this accident, but I have to say Dr. Kenneth Candido, he cares about me. It's changed my life. I absolutely would recommend Dr. Kenneth Candido. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 4.125%. APR 4.82%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 4.125% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Ladies, you work hard. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, work outside the home, or both, your sacrifices may have affected your appearance. Well, I have some great news. I'm excited to tell you about Bert and Will Plastic Surgery and Laser Center. Childbearing, breastfeeding, weight gain, weight loss, or just normal aging, I know, can affect our appearance. Unfortunately, dieting and exercise aren't always enough. Dr. Bert offers the Mommy Makeover. It includes a tummy tuck, breast augmentation with the new memory-shaped implants. Dr. Will specializes in Botox, neck lifts, and facial procedures. You can uncover the beauty within. Doctors Bert and Will are female board-certified plastic surgeons. Curious? Well, I met them and I love them. You'll receive a free consultation at any of their Chicagoland offices or register for an upcoming seminar. Call 630-930-3555 or visit uncovermybeauty.com. 630-930-3555 or uncovermybeauty.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Ronner says Madigan wants a tax increase. Madigan says Ronner wants a tax increase at 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching right now. Naperville North High School students hospitalized after eating tainted candy while husband and wife were found shot to death in a Burbank home. The investigation continues there. Illinois lawmakers continue the stare down over the budget. University of Illinois will not become a sanctuary campus. Sox trade Chris Sale to Boston on a cloudy, breezy day. WIND, Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A month after Donald Trump won the election, he's Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
I think this is great.
A reaction from a diner in Clearwater, Florida.
If Time is on the pulse of what is happening, then it makes a lot of sense that he was selected.
Now, he took another victory lap last night.
Thank you, the people of North Carolina.
And the president-elect shared the stage. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, retired General James Mattis accepted Mr. Trump's offer to become the next defense secretary, and in brief remarks said he looks forward to working in the Trump administration as long as Congress approves a waiver clearing him for the job. Also at the event in Fayetteville, the president-elect vowed to revitalize the military and equip service members.
We'll have the supplies, support, equipment, training, services, medical care, and resources they need.
Meanwhile, Iowa Governor Terry Branstad is the president-elect's choice to be ambassador to China. Dave.
Rachel, most Americans only know it from old black and white footage.
A date which will live in infamy.
But Alex Aranzi was there when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor 75 years ago today.
I'll tell you what it was. It was like they call that hell on earth.
He and other survivors will gather in Hawaii for a moment of silence later today, remembering the 2,403 Americans who died in the attack that dragged us into World War II. A plane has crashed in Pakistan, a flight with more than 40 passengers on board. A government official has just told Reuters witnesses say it went down in flames in a mountain village. Debris is scattered, and all the bodies are burned beyond recognition. Hours after an earthquake rocked Indonesia, they're going through collapsed and damaged buildings looking for victims. They've pulled 4 people out alive, but nearly 100 others were killed. This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are partly cloudy this morning, 25 degrees. However, west winds at 14 give us a wind chill heading to the bus stop at 12 above. Several students at a suburban high school were sickened after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance that may have been a liquid-based marijuana substance. 13 students were treated by first responders at Naperville North High School Tuesday. 11 remain hospitalized. After another state budget summit, the 4 legislative leaders and Governor Ronner Tuesday walked away after a couple of hours of staring at each other with no budging on a deal, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Illinois Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno says the Democrats show no urgency.
I don't think doing nothing is a viable option.
But House Speaker Michael Madigan says the governor's insistence on anti-union reforms is what's created this crisis.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
Madigan has offered to form legislative groups to develop bills on Ronner's reforms. Most of the current budget expires at the end of the year. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Authorities say a Secretary of State instructor is charged with sexually abusing a woman during a driving test in Chicago. 29-year-old Joshua Atwater was booked into jail on felony charges of criminal sexual abuse. Federal prosecutors say they don't want former Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock's corruption case moved from Springfield to Peoria. Schock last month requested that move. Schock is to be arraigned Monday in a U.S. District Judge's courtroom in Springfield. And authorities say 1994 Heisman Trophy winner Rashaan Salam has been found dead in a Colorado park. Boulder County, Colorado coroner's office says still investigating the cause of death of the 42-year-old Salam. Salam led Colorado to one of its best seasons in 1994 and then came to the Bears. The news is shocking to many.
Definitely a shocking type of situation. Rashaan Salam was living in Superior, which is just a few miles around Boulder, so he was around the Colorado program, stayed in contact with a lot of people.
He had a terrific rookie season with the Bears in 1995, rushing for over 1,000 yards, scoring 10 touchdowns. Then he only scored 3 times over the next 2 years. Chris Sale joining the Boston Red Sox. It's a huge package of prospects coming to the south side, including the high-priced Yoan Moncada. Pistons over the Bulls last night, 102-91, and the Blackhawks blanked Arizona 4-0. The news is a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology and gifts for everyone, like laptops, smartphones, even Apple TV. And right now, look for Staples tech gifts in a coupon book with great ideas and even more savings. While supplies last, U.S. stores only, excludes clearance. Staples make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
7:06, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The South Shore Line has delays after a collision in Michigan City involving a vehicle and a train. Metro is honoring South Shore tickets on the electric line. Eastbound I-80 has delays. Harlem to before I-57 where there's a crash. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 23. Kennedy's jammed from O'Hare to North Avenue after a crash. An hour and 7 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 45 minutes from Montrose. 16 on the Express. Outbound 34 to the airport. The Eisenhower's 52 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 34. Stevenson 51 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Bryan 28 minutes. 95 to downtown. Eastbound Reagan Tollway. Jammed Myers to Roosevelt with a crash in the right lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy and breezy today, high 29, then a mostly cloudy and breezy night, low 16. Few flurries tomorrow, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy, high 25. Turning out partly cloudy at night, low tomorrow night, 17. Friday, clouds and sun, high 23. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
25 and partly cloudy at O'Hare, a wind chill of 12 above. 7:30 is your next news update. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money.
This is not profit. This is loss. This is a mass grave.
So for the families, can you...
I'm only here to say one thing, that I am incredibly sorry.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage the governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So sad news in the Chicago sports world yesterday. First, the departure of Chris Sale, the funky left-hander.
Oh, yeah, he's changing socks, going from a White Sox to a Red Sox.
Yeah.
Sorry. The Red Sox are formidable opponents now.
Well, they made the playoffs last year.
I know, but this year they're going to play the Cubs in the World Series.
Oh, is that
okay?
right?
Mark my word, the Cubs.
All right.
Red Sox World Series matchup for 2017.
Go get my bets down. So that also devalues my season tickets a little bit without Sale there.
I'm Dad having a bad day. I'm so sorry.
A couple of years for those prospects to mature. And then much sadder news, Mike Scott had it at the top of 7, Heisman Trophy winner and Bears first-round draft pick, 21st pick overall, Rashaan Salam, found dead in Boulder, Colorado, in a park in Boulder, Colorado, 42 years old. Sports Illustrated reported that it was an apparent suicide.
Yeah, and so did another publication. But how do you fall from grace? I mean, he was such a talented running back and was just, I thought he had, the world was his. And then he ends up dead in a park. Did he have a concussion problem? Do we know?
Don't know. I mean, he had some injury problems that cut short his career, which is obviously not unusual in the NFL. Only a couple of years with the Bears and a couple of years with the Browns, and then he was gone. So he's been, out of the sport for a long time.
He played for the XFL for one season, and then he tried to make a comeback in 2003, but it didn't work.
Well, and we also have dismal political news. That's kind of standard issue in Illinois, this crackerjack state. But Rauner is really getting backed into a corner by the Democrats, and I'm a bit perplexed by his approach, I have to say. You've got Emmanuel, Tiny Dancer, and his ballet troupe on the city council trying to back him into a corner on sanctuary city status, wants him to publicly embrace sanctuary city status and reject the Trump administration position. You got Madigan and the pro-aborts moving legislation that would provide public funding of abortion in Illinois to try and back him into a corner on the life issue, particularly since he's already signed legislation that failed to protect a medical provider's freedom of conscience when it comes to abortifacients and the like. You have them, and like your loony left Lakeview friends excoriating him for vetoing legislation that would have provided $215 billion to stave off a reckoning for one day longer for the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund. That was actually a good thing he did, vetoing that bill.
Well, they don't see it that way.
Well, of course they don't. They don't see anything. They have no ability to connect the dots. They either are viciously, purposely ignorant, or they have below room temperature IQs. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of those two things. And please share. And then he decides to sign this bailout of a couple of Exelon nuclear facilities, which is a $235 million a year subsidy, which, of course, will be passed on to Illinois commercial and residential taxpayers. This rate hike for power. Grover Norquist weighed in on this, kind of virulently anti-tax Grover Norquist, saying that this is anti-free market legislation that will kill tens of thousands of Illinois jobs, increase the rates in the state by more than $13 billion to prop up politically connected corporations at the expense of Illinois residents. He puts the projected loss of 44,000 jobs and a reduction in Illinois' economic activity by $15 billion. We had Steve Rauschenberger from the Technology and Manufacturing Association on earlier in the week, representing small to mid-sized manufacturers. 6 to 7% increase in the cost of providing power to their facilities. That's an impact, particularly in a high-tax, high-regulation state. And so that's a curious choice he's making. It is clearly corporate welfare. So I don't know. Then he has failed to move Rauner on AFSCME, kind of tepidly implementing the last best final offer after he got a ruling from the Illinois Labor Relations Board and a written version of it on Monday, saying that there is a labor impasse, which gives him the authority to implement his last best final offer, which includes a wage freeze, which he successfully negotiated with 18 other smaller collective bargaining units that represent smaller groups of state workers.
How long is the wage freeze?
The life of the contract.
Contract, okay.
And the governor's office claimed, but there's merit pay and other incentives that you can increase your pay. The governor's office yesterday had to respond to a temporary restraining order that was issued by a St. Clair County judge. And now another hearing is set for January 13th. The temporary restraining order granted to AFSCME and ordering the governor to honor the tolling agreement to maintain the wages, hours, and other terms and conditions of employment as they existed on that day, pending a determination on the merits of the plaintiff's argument in the complaint about the labor impasse. So essentially, freezing everything. That's the St. Clair County judge's order because he's slow to move on AFSCME. Doesn't want the fight. And then, of course, the budget impasse and this kabuki theater that everyone is indulging, including Republicans. And I had an exchange with somebody who was very close to one of the legislative Republican leaders. Mm-hmm. And it's just an incredible exchange. What's going on? The idea that they think that, one of the things we're thinking with their milquetoast rhetoric and abiding Madigan's manipulation of this process. I don't have time to meet on the budget. We meet on the budget. He goes out and says, here, we have a framework for a deal. We have these working groups. You'll hear from Madigan in a second after yesterday's purposeless meeting. They think, after all this time, 32 years in power, Madigan, and these Republicans, including the ones I'm talking about, have been there for 20 years. Legislative leaders have, Durkin and Radonio, just about 15, 20 years. And they think that we don't want to be too antagonistic. We don't want to speak in unvarnished terms because that drives Madigan away. Oh, really?
Oh, my gosh.
So let me just understand something.
So he needs a safe space now, too?
No, the approach to Madigan, you see, is to kill him with kindness. Because if you're nice to him, then Mike Madigan's going to say, oh, you know what?
You're right.
These people aren't so bad. Look, we're being so friendly. We're sharing an apple. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and do work comp reform. We're going to go ahead and do pension reform. We're going to rethink how we fund K through 12 education. We're going to freeze property tax, a real freeze. Market valuation and a real cap on property taxes, not these phony baloney Swiss cheese property tax caps we've had for the past 20 years. I'm going to do all that now because you're nice. Of course, that's what Madigan responds to. This is why we are getting our brains beat in. Milquetoast rhetoric, playing the game on his terms, using abstract, vapid language to describe what Madigan's doing, which is a continuation of a 30-year heist of this state. And what does Madigan do? He projects onto the governor what he's actually doing.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
This is exactly what Madigan does.
That's what he does.
There has not been a constitutionally balanced budget in this state in 16 years. Bruce Rauner's been here 2. And he's willing to deal, as he said from the outset, to get a constitutionally required balanced budget, but you got to do structural reforms that change that bend the cost curves for systems we cannot finance and for systems that are driving business and economic activity out of this state. So work comp and public sector pensions and, frankly, tax policy. But he's even willing to deal on revenue, as he said ad nauseum. Mike Madigan, 32 years, 16 years, no constitutionally balanced budget. I'm just going to promise money we will never have, benefits you will never receive, and I'm the good guy. And the responsible person that says we have to operate within these confines, that's the bad guy. Because we're a bunch of kindergartners in this state. At least we are in the city with your Champagne socialist friends and in the Dem voters in suburban Cook County and the Collars who like this, like exactly what's going on in Illinois. Give me more. until I decide I'm going to be a Florida resident or Nashville resident or some other Austin resident or Charleston resident like everybody else. But, I mean, listen, so here's Mike Madigan. I mean, it's just one lie after the other. But like Dick Durbin, he's mastered lying at a room temperature tone, and so he sounds reasonable. What he's saying is unreasonable.
The report from the meeting would be as follows. I have proposed to the governor and to the Republicans we establish groups for discussion on issues. The issues would be as follows. Education, which would be elementary and secondary education, pensions, including changes to the current statute.
So here's what he's saying. I have these legislative groups. I have experts in my caucus on K through 12 education, on pensions, and we're going to put them in groups. I've got these working groups, and we need to work through the working groups to discuss these issues that we have discussed for generations and done nothing to address. We need to continue the discussion because what is he doing? It's a four-corner play to get to the 2018 election. Hope the environment is better for the party out of power at the national level, would be the Democrats. And then he can regain the 4 seats he lost and get Governor Rana out of there in 18 and then, be on his merry way.
Yeah, keep going.
It's the same thing. And the response is, kind of here, hope and change and wistfulness.
The question here is how much more do we want to go back to square one and recreate working groups? I do not think that's a good idea. I think if this group puts their mind to it, there's a framework available for us.
I mean, Radogno, that's Christine Radogno, the Senate Republican leader. She's right, of course. We're not going back to square one. These working groups are pointless. And
it's just silly.
And a misdirection play. She and Durkin and the governor need to speak in no uncertain terms. It's a scam. This person is a purposeful liar. He will say and do anything to maintain political power at your expense. I mean, Madigan.
And he's a shakedown artist.
And also, he thinks you're stupid, Illinois electorate. All of his candidates, which you suburban Democrats voted for, by the way, running ads financed by Mike Madigan and mail pieces you receive that says this Republican candidate is going to cut Social Security and Medicare. Of course, Social Security and Medicare are federal programs, not state programs. There is not a Republican or Democrat state legislator that has any power to do anything with respect to Social Security and Medicare. But it didn't stop Team Madigan from running all of those commercials and sending you all that mail that said, name your Republican candidate, name your Republican governor, are going to do those things. You know why? Because they think you're stupid. And you respond by saying, yes, I am.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Winter blast is beginning today. It's going to be cold and blustery out there. Wind chills in the teens. A high today of 29 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, it's a mess on the eastbound Reagan Tollway, Highland to Roosevelt, with a crash now on the right shoulder. The Kennedy, a mess after a crash at North Avenue. An hour and 15 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes from Montrose 19 on the Express. Outbound 39 to the airport. Eden's 34 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 28. The Ike, 52 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 39. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State Heavy, 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway delays 25 to before Roselle with police activity on the right shoulder. And from the Des Plaines Oasis to Lee, I-80 is jammed. LaGrange Road to before I-57 with a crash. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey guys, check this out. There's a brand new technology that's going to drive your wife or girlfriend wild. It's probably not what you're thinking. It's even better. It's called Micro Velvet, created by the PJ experts over there at Pajamagram. And it's found only in their Tempting Touch PJs. Now, Tempting Touch PJs are simply the softest and most luxurious pajamas ever imagined. They're addictively soft. They beg to be touched. So go to pajamagram.com and get her the blissful comfort you know she deserves. Now, this is a higher level of soft, softer than her sweetest dreams and yours. They're tempting to wear and tempting to touch. And when she's happy, you'll be happy too. A holiday gift has never felt this tempting. So you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging. Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So here's what you do. Visit pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs. That's 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
If you're an IT services pro or you just manage IT in your organization, you know how important data storage is. Hiding a server in the back closet next to the coffee filters? Well, you don't have to be running for president to know that's a dumb idea. Today, you need data storage solutions that are safe, secure, and ready for anything, run by professionals who care about you and your business. New Continuum Data Center is a cutting-edge West Chicago co-location facility that's 80,000 square feet of cooled and connected awesome. But don't think of us as a data center. Think of us as the people inside the data center. Talented pros who are monitoring your servers 24/7. We're here to customize solutions, answer questions, carry out tasks to your exact specifications, or just get out of the way while you work in our comfortable, secure, state-of-the-art facility. Whether you need a single rack, a secure cage, or a private suite, or just aren't sure, let's talk about designing the right solution for you. Visit newcontinuum.net/radio today and get up to 3 free months of service just for taking a tour. Some conditions apply. That's newcontinuum.net/radio or call 1-800-432-COLO and mention this radio ad.
It's tough to find a good place to take your family or friends for a good meal with something to satisfy everyone. Little Jimmy wants a burger and fries. Dad wants surf and turf. Sister Sue wants pizza. And Mom wants Mexican fare. And then there's your buddy Bill, so indecisive. Here's the place to go where everyone will be happy. Primetime Restaurant and Bar in Hickory Hills. With great eats for every taste, a full bar, and delicious specials every day of the week. Primetime's extensive menu features a long list of appetizers, salads, sandwiches, steaks and chops, chicken and pasta, fresh seafood, a kids menu, and of course their ever-popular pizza. They're open for lunch starting at 11 a.m. and serving till 1 a.m. every day. Primetime is a place you can take your family to or bring a date to, celebrate an anniversary or birthday, or just a place to meet friends and watch your favorite game on any one of the 32 flat screen and projection TVs. Book your holiday parties now in their special events room for up to 60 people. Get to Primetime Restaurant and Bar, 7750 West 95th Street, Hickory Hills.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're pleased to be joined by Todd Chapman with Food for the Poor. We're talking a little bit of college football, but we have more important matters to tackle than college football, Amy. So stop with your silliness, please.
Oh, wait, we have to turn your mic on. Are you on now?
Am I on?
Yeah, now
Here
you're
I am.
on. There you go.
She knew I was a Michigan fan, apparently, and so she barbed me by wearing her Iowa garb. So
exactly.
Love you. Love you.
She wears it every day. Yeah.
I do.
Congrats,
at
man. It
least
was a great
once
game.
a week.
Yeah, that's great.
We're still celebrating the Wolverine victory. I think so.
A lot of eye rolling over here. Who's your team?
He doesn't have a team.
I don't know. I went to Northwestern.
So hence he doesn't have a team.
Yeah.
Oh.
It does not. I mean, it has no impact on me because Northwestern is such a atrocity of a fake institution of higher learning, rivaled only by Iowa.
Oh, please.
Which doesn't even have a Latin motto.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We're the cool kids.
Yeah. Eat more corn. Iowa motto.
Raise more pigs.
Yeah. To Terry Branstad, maybe the.
He's the new ambassador to China.
And he's the longest-serving governor in the history of America. So you got that going for you, which is about it. Food for the Poor. Let's get to it.
Yes.
Food for the Poor. We're partnering with Food for the Poor this year. Todd Chapman is representing Food for the Poor, trying to feed, our goal here, 1,500 children, poor children, starving children in Haiti and Guatemala this year. And we're doing it with an individual donation program as well as a business benefactor program, as we've done in years past. And Todd, just give us a little bit of background here and why specifically Haiti and Guatemala.
Yeah, absolutely. Food for the Poor, one of the largest charities in the U.S., and actually a pretty well-kept secret, and that's because we don't spend a lot of money on major national advertising. We choose instead to invest those donations into helping as many poor people as we can. And so for 35 years now, we've worked in 17 countries, including Guatemala and Haiti. And the reason we've chosen Guatemala and Haiti is because those two countries, well, first of all, Haiti is the poorest country in the Americas, desperately poor, the average Haitian making $1 a day. They had the earthquake in 2010, just foundational, really devastating poverty. And now Hurricane Matthew, 9 weeks ago yesterday, which, by the way, that's kind of out of our media, but absolutely decimated Haiti. They're estimating if things don't improve and if the food shipments don't continue to come into Haiti, 1.4 million people facing famine conditions in Haiti in the next few months. It was that destructive. And then Guatemala, one of the highest rates of child malnutrition anywhere on the face of the planet. And again, just, nearby in Central America.
What I love about Food for the Poor, though, is 95 cents of every dollar raised goes directly to the people.
Yeah, and it's been that way for 10 consecutive years now. That's one of the things we're just very, committed to is absolute great stewardship of people's gifts. When you give to a charity, you expect, appropriately so, that it's going to go to what you give, you've given to. And obviously, an organization of any scale has operating costs. We have expenses, we have employees, infrastructure, things like that. But for Food for the Poor is $1 billion charity, and so for us to operate at 95% efficiency for 10 consecutive years, I think it speaks pretty highly of how
it's
efficient
great.
we are. So.
And also that overhead allows, and the logistics, the personnel that you have allows you to run your own show. And it's important too. I mean, when you talk about third world countries like Haiti and Guatemala, we're not working with kind of dubiously stable governments. Food for the Poor does their own thing from soup to nuts.
Yeah, we've been in Haiti specifically for 30 years and very quickly learned the pitfalls of working with, a historically corrupt government like Haiti. And that's where a lot of charities that don't have experience and people on the ground in Haiti, we have several hundred national Haitian employees that work there and manage our efforts there. That's really important because, your work can be stymied and funds can be misappropriated, and there's a lot of greasing of palms that goes on there, but that doesn't happen with Food for the Poor. Over 30 years, we've proven to the government and the citizens of Haiti the impact that our donors have on their quality of life, and so they leave us alone. No import tariffs, no red tape. When we get goods in there, they make it out to the people with all possible speed. So that's why today your gift can make such a huge difference, and we're asking you to provide food and water, $50 food for a year, 2 meals a day for a starving child, and then access to clean, safe drinking water for life. We do that through a well or a water purification system that's going to serve those communities for decades to come.
And Amy, how can people make that $50 donation that Todd just described?
Yeah, quickly, and it just takes a few seconds to help so many. 855-880-FOOD. That's 855-880-3663. Or simply, if you have a cell phone, press pound 250, and you'll be prompted. Just say the word food, and you'll be directed to an operator.
This is the morning show. More Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Stacy wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Deerfield. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by me before talking to a realtor is like smoking while pumping gas. I pre-qualified Stacy to purchase a home and introduced her to Lauren Shue, my preferred Deerfield realtor. If you're purchasing a home, call me first. I'll pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to my experienced team of preferred realtors who will help you locate the perfect home. My team of real estate experts will always look out for your financial best interest. If you're buying a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Hey, it's hard sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night, waking up feeling unrested, so I suggest you order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. America. So if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, right now is the best time to buy for a limited time only when you buy one MyPillow. You'll receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. And the money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
General Mattis needs a waiver, and you best give General Mattis what he wants. You don't want to make General Mattis angry. You won't like him when he's angry at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Dan and Amy, here are the stories we're following at this hour. President-elect Donald Trump, Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2016. A Pakistani jetliner missing. Air traffic controllers are afraid it has crashed with 40 on board, destined for Islamabad. A strong earthquake rocks Indonesia's Aceh province, quake killing nearly 100, sparking frantic rescue efforts this morning. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Ceremony will be held in Hawaii to remember the day in 1941 when Japan attacked American ships docked at a naval base in Honolulu. Autopsies are scheduled for later today for a husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. Several students at Naperville North High School remain hospitalized. Many became sickened after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance. State employees in Illinois have at least a few more weeks to try and carve out a new labor contract. A judge in St. Clair County yesterday blocking Governor Rauner from imposing his final offer on AFSCME members. And federal prosecutors say they do not want former Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock's corruption case moved from Springfield to Peoria. All-Star ace Chris Sale joining the Boston Red Sox and leaving the South Side for a package of 4 high-profile prospects. Detroit beat the Bulls, Blackhawks blank Arizona, and in college hoops, Fighting Illini winners over the Jaguars of IUPUI. The news a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology and gifts for everyone, like laptops, tablets, even Apple TV. And right now, look for the Staples Tech Gifts coupon book for great ideas and even more savings while supplies last. U.S. stores only, excludes clearance. Staples, make more happen. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will always tell it like it is.
He's blasted if he picks people who seem to be regular Washington insiders for his cabinet. And then he picks Ben Carson, the consummate outsider, to head up HUD. And big mouths like me say, well, you know, is Dr. Carson really a good fit? So here I am, part of the problem rather than the solution.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Looking for an employment position or a career change in McHenry or Kane County? Contact Express Employment Professionals. 815-788-8556.
This is Terry Greeno. My company is Express Employment Professionals. If you want to get a new position in McHenry or Kane County, we are your connection. We did it 425,000 times last year. We are the go-to company for employment. Make a change and get a position that is rewarding and fulfilling. We know the companies in this area, and we know how to match you with a position that's a good fit for you. It's simple. We put great companies and great people together. We have the companies, now we need you. Contact us. Get more information at expresshires.com.
Contact the go-to company, the one that specializes in employment positions in McHenry and Kane County. Contact Express Employment Professionals. 815-788-8556. 815-788-8556.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies has reached consumers in every state in the union. World-renowned celebrities, famous athletes, top news commentators, thousands of professionals, and yes, hundreds of doctors. Here's Dr. Watkins.
Balance of Nature selects only the highest quality ripened fruits and vegetables with all of their phytochemicals and no substitutes. In today's modern diet, it is essential to add Balance of Nature to your life.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice. Over a $100 value. Absolutely free.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
7:39 and a check of the roads at our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Like the eastbound Reagan Tollway, very heavy. Naperville Road to the Myers Toll with a crash in the right lane. Eastbound I-80 jammed. LaGrange Road past 183rd with a crash in the left lane. Eden's 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 35. Kennedy, an hour and 13 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 39 minutes. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 43. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 from 95th to downtown. Traffic service of Accountemps. Do you know what you should be making? Visit accountemps.com/salary center. See salaries for more than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. It's your go-to source for accounting and finance salary information. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, and colder today, high 29. Cloudy, breezy, a chilly night ahead, low 16. A few flurries tomorrow and a high of 25. Currently 25 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Lake County Right to Life. Visit LCRTL to make a donation or get involved.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Good question asked in a piece in theweek.com. Why are so many Democrat operatives cynical, soulless hacks? It's a great question. The argument is this. 2 examples. Tiny Dancer. Consider Rahm Emanuel. Yes. Now the mayor of Chicago, he was president's chief of staff from 2009 to 2010. He's the guy who cynically suggested ditching Obamacare when it hit its first political hurdles, who helped lock in a jaw-dropping, horrible deal giving control of Chicago's parking meters to a consortium of investors for over 70 years, and who suppressed video of a police shooting of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald so he can win re-election last year. Or consider David Brock. A former rabidly anti-Clinton conservative attack dog, Brock has since seen the liberal light and founded Media Matters for America, a political nonprofit. He is probably best known today for building a stable of writers whose slavish hero worship of Hillary Clinton was matched only by their crazed hostility to Bernie Sanders. Now, much of Media Matters' output is still worthwhile, but overall, Brock's various institutions produce unusually cloddish, center-left agitprop. As you can hear from my reading of these passages, this is coming from the left, not the right, talking about Democrat operatives being cynical, soulless hacks. The author goes on to make the contention. The political style of Democrat operatives like Emanuel and Brock is characterized by a focus on opposition research and propaganda, an obsessive pursuit of political cash at nearly any cost, and occasional sops to the liberal base when it can't be avoided. Instead of trying to build genuine enthusiasm among the working class with integrity and simple good policy, they would attack the enemy and essentially dupe people into voting Democrat with psychological tricks, massive ad campaigns, and coordinated use of social media. How about that? I would say that description, this left author from The Week, this is at theweek.com, that he offers of Democrats at the federal level. I mean, obviously Tiny Dancer's here in Chicago, but he's really talking about his kind of federal state political activity. That characterization is befitting the Republican Party in Illinois. There's no vision. There's no policy agenda.
Sounds like there's no backbone.
And there's no backbone.
Because the story you presented earlier about Christine Rodonez and Durkin, I mean, they're coddling Mike Madigan, or instead of standing up to him and berating him.
Well, it's
calling him out for the fraud that he is.
But here's what
shakedown artist.
But here's one of the mistakes. I mean, it's more than just berating him, although that is certainly warranted. They take positions. They don't make arguments. Making arguments takes time and patience and consistent application. Waving a flag is easy. Advancing a flag more difficult. And when you try and advance a flag in the political arena, you're going to run into resistance. And tell me if, especially you Illinoisans, those of you who are left, tell me if that's criticism of Rahm and David Brock and the Democrat operatives doesn't ring familiar, particularly if you're a conservative in Illinois. This characterization, occasional sops to the liberal base when it can't be avoided. Does that sound like the Republican Party in Illinois that makes occasional sops to the conservative base when it can't be avoided? Focus on opposition research and propaganda, obsessively pursue political cash at nearly any cost. I mean, political resources are important, there's no question. I raise money for the PAC that I run in this state, the Super PAC that supports state legislative candidates and local candidates. Nothing wrong with raising money at any cost is the key phrase. The lack of doing anything other than playing the game of your boogie. The game is this: we need to make our boogeyman less scary than your boogeyman. And this is, to me, the trap that Rauner is falling into in Illinois, which is why he's treading water at best. In part, it's the landscape that he inherited, and there's nothing he can do about it. And you have intransigent Democrat bosses who are not interested in policy, who are not interested in the economic vitality of the state. They're interested in political power. And they have a complicit electorate to give them that political power. So why would they change? They have been chastened at the ballot box, so why would they change? So that is a real structural problem that Rauner faces, not of his own doing, that is different than Republican governors in our Great Lakes neighbors. Now, the leadership of the party, including those Republican governors in our Great Lakes neighbors, changed the composition of the state legislatures in those states and then changed the trajectory of the state. But if it's just going to be about the governor and not the larger agenda, if it's just going to be about Madigan is worse than Rauner is, which is the binary dichotomy we have been in for the past 2 years, and Republicans seem to be content to play that game exclusively. That's part of it, but it can't be the exclusive game. If it's the exclusive game, you're going to find out yourself where Democrats find themselves at the national level in a place where you just can't understand why people aren't embracing you. When people agree with you that this person on the other side is not good for me, but refuse to embrace you. That's what happened to Mitt Romney in 2012. Right? Those voters in the Rust Belt that put Trump over the top sat on their hands in 2012. Why? Because Mitt Romney didn't give voice to their concerns. At least they didn't believe that.
Yeah, so they stayed home.
And where are we with so many retired Republicans in Illinois and, frankly, Republican expats that used to be in Illinois but moved across the border to one of our neighboring states or to a more hospitable
Texas,
to all of the states where people are moving, the job magnet states. And, you see we're so critical of the lack of self-reflection from the left. I mean, critical but enjoying it. The lack of self-reflection from the left after what happened on November 8th with congressional races as well as obviously the presidency. What about the lack of reflection here in Illinois? How is it that it's the Democrat Party has become a coastal party overnight, it seems, but It's been building for a long time, right? This happened overnight, but it's been building for 20 years, at least. Coastal Party and Illinois. That's it.
Chicago.
Well, but
right.
It's Illinois. And,
that's true.
And so, again, we had this discussion before, but maybe prompt a little bit more thinking on the topic.
Well, that's why we can't get rid of the Electoral College, because then California, New York, and Illinois would decide who'd be our next president.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, that's a static analysis. Then people's voting patterns change when their state's in play all of a sudden, when popular vote versus electoral vote is what matters. So you'd have to play out the model a little bit more than that. But in terms of comparing Illinois to these other states, I ask again, are suburban families in Illinois and Chicago suburban families, are they much different than suburban families in Philadelphia, in Detroit, in Cincinnati, or Cleveland, or Indianapolis, or Madison, Milwaukee? I mean, Milwaukee in particular. I mean, they're smaller suburban areas, but are they that much different? So why are the voting patterns so different? I mean, one of the explanations is we have more governments, units of government and government jobs than, for example, manufacturing jobs in Illinois, and we're the only state in the Great Lakes that does that. So you have more people that are beneficiaries of big government and perhaps more inclined to sustain it to the extent they can, at least until they get theirs and get out. But I don't know. I mean, this to me requires some real soul searching. It doesn't seem like we're getting it. It seems like we're content with this. Madigan's bad. He's been there for 30 years. Rauner's only been there for 2 years, and he inherited all this mess. Well, it's true. But if 4 years from now you're still saying the same thing, people look at the executive. People look at what happened under this executive, and if the situation doesn't improve in Illinois, which it's not going to, then what's the argument? Because you're going to have, is it just going to be, again, they're worse than I am? That's an argument Republicans have consistently lost for generations in Illinois now, particularly at the legislative level. But we're going to win it this time, and then what are we going to do? Because what if we win? Then what would we do? Now, Rauner has some specific ideas, at least idea areas. Some of those ideas haven't been as fleshed out as they need to be. And then he's blurring the lines of distinction between the two parties when he does something like sign an energy bill that's just $235 million a year corporate welfare. You're the anti-crony capitalism guy, I thought. Mike on the north side.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. You know when the Republican Party started dying in Illinois? In 1996. Michael Patrick Flanagan was running for re-election, and all the establishment Republicans cut him loose. They cut their side deals with Daley and with Blagojevich's father-in-law, and they cut him loose. And now you got this Leviathan that nobody could stop. What I called about was everybody's so upset about the signs coming down, but they forgot what happened downtown last week because the press ignored it. One, Kim Cabrini got sworn in as state's attorney, and she made a speech. She's going after the cops. Forget about the gangster disciples and the gangbangers shooting up the neighborhoods. Let's go after the cops. And Sticky Buns and the rest of the aldermen went along with Rahm Emanuel, and they put a new TIF in, a transportation TIF. Education's still going to get its money out of the TIF, but the money that's supposed to go to the county is going to be going to the mayoral piggy bank for projects for Yale. So I want to thank the thank the suburbs. You know, your property taxes are going to be raised by, Tony Taxwinkle to pay for our transportation. Thanks a lot. This is what you voted for.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Listen, it's so disheartening that this bill was just passed and no one other than you is wiggling about it. You're talking about trillions of dollars to boil water. The nuclear policy is so ridiculous that Republicans just blindly support it because they think it will win them favoritism. And first of all, I have never recognized any difference between Bruce Rauner and Democrats. He supported them the entire way. And this whole notion that we are not going to bail out the teachers union, that we are not going to pay for every tax increase. We are, all of us, but as you drive through a good neighborhood, everybody do it today, look at the amount of real estate signs, because the people who can are leaving. I'm in Florida right now facilitating 2 Chicago business people, very successful guys, who are moving. and more every week are making the decision. They are realizing there is no Illinois Republican Party. It's shooting dice with Big Jilly. And they're telling you they remember where the dots are, and you're going to lose every single time. That's why they all travel on the plane together, and they're all smiles, and their wives go to the same cocktail party. It is kabuki theater, and the only way you're ever going to run against them is if you got the nod and the approval. And that's why Trump hires Ed Burke to get his property taxes lowered. It's not that snazzy zoot suit. It's that it's completely and utterly corrupt. Tear it down now.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson and Dan Proft here from Chicago's Morning Answer.
If you're a business owner, marketing manager, or if you make the marketing decisions for a business, listen up. We've got an offer you need to hear.
This Christmas season, we're partnering with Food for the Poor to raise money to help children and families suffering in Haiti and Guatemala. And we want you to partner with us, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is.
If you make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor on behalf of your business, we will give you an AM560 marketing package free of charge. That package includes 40 60-second commercials that will air on this station Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. If you want to reach an upscale, affluent, engaged audience, then you need to become an AM560 business benefactor.
Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most respected charities, and 95 cents of every dollar they raise goes directly to help those in need.
To learn more about how you can become a business benefactor, call Michael Mann at 847-871-1527. Again, that's 847-871-1527. And thank you in advance for your generosity. Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. This time of year can be exhausting and stressful, but if you feel a lack of energy or motivation, no matter what time of year, it's time to get your testosterone levels checked. Stress is associated with low testosterone and can worsen symptoms like fatigue, trouble sleeping, and can affect your mood. I personally recommend going to Low T Center. They make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap after lunch, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. Low T Center accepts most health insurance and has flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center today and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. Call 630-409-4305. 630-409-4305. That number again, 630-409-4305. Or go to lowtcenter.com.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Why are so many people chronically unhappy? Here's one answer from a character in an Ayn Rand novel. Look at everyone around us. You've wondered why they suffer, why they seek happiness and never find it. If any man stopped and asked himself whether he's ever held a truly personal desire, he'd find the answer. Millions of readers love Rand's novels because her heroes have the courage and integrity to stick by their personal desires, never casting them aside, never compromising them. In her novel, We the Living, The Fountainhead, and Atlas Shrugged, the hero's failures and successes attest to the truth of what Rand often told her friends. Don't give up what you want in life. The struggle is worth it. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brook's Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with the Gold Silver Group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset, and we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-511-6771 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group. Get up to $995 in free silver on all qualified transactions. Ask how. All transactions have no startup fee, are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-511-6771. 800-511-6771.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank?
14 years.
That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rose the
I'm
man.
sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rose the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rose the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump's thank you tour comes to North Carolina. We'll have it at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's a big thanks to Mike Scott.
Husband and wife found shot to death in their Burbank home. We'll have the latest. Illinois lawmakers continue their stare down over the budget. And the White Sox trade Chris Sale to Boston. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony, declaring Donald Trump president of the divided states of America. Time Magazine's made him Person of the Year.
I consider this a very, very great honor.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, Mr. Trump told the NBC Today show he grew up reading Time, long before the Twitter era, and he defended his use of the social media site, saying it gets his message out faster.
I think I am very restrained, and I talk about important things.
He also confirmed he's talked to the CEO of Boeing about building the next Air Force One after he threatened to cancel the company's contract.
We're going to work it out, but, you know, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to negotiate prices.
Runners-up for Person of the Year included Hillary Clinton, Turkish President Erdogan, and Beyonce. Dave.
Rachel, last night at a thank you rally in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the president-elect introduced his defense secretary nominee, retired Marine General James Mattis. They'll seat a jury this morning to put Dylan Roof on trial in South Carolina. Then it's on to opening statements. Prosecutors say the white man massacred black parishioners.
He sat inside the church the night of June 17th for an hour listening to Bible study before shooting Pastor Clemente Pickney and 8 others to death. Roof could be sentenced to die if convicted of hate crimes in this federal trial. He also faces a death penalty in a future trial by the state of South Carolina.
Fox's Eben Brown. A plane has crashed and burned in Pakistan with more than 40 passengers on board. Reuters quotes a government official who said it went down shortly after takeoff. There's debris scattered and bodies burned beyond recognition. In Indonesia, they keep searching for earthquake survivors in collapsed and damaged buildings. Nearly 100 people were killed. 4 people have been pulled out alive. Pearl Harbor survivors are in Hawaii, remembering the infamous date 75 years ago today when the Japanese attacked, leading us into World War II. Bob Batterson's among them.
Torpedo plane flew by about 50 feet from us.
In about 4 hours, there'll be a moment of silence for the more than 2,400 Americans who died in Pearl Harbor. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are partly cloudy. We have 25 degrees. Winds are west at 15 miles an hour, giving us a wind chill of 11 above. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Several students at Naperville North High School were sickened after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance that may be some kind of liquid-based marijuana. Authorities are testing that candy. 11 remain hospitalized. Autopsies are scheduled later today for a husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. The couple was discovered dead yesterday inside their home in the 8500 block of Laramie Avenue. Officers did find a firearm nearby. Chicago elected officials are launching a task force that they say will coordinate legal, health, and employment services for immigrants and refugees in the city. The mayor announcing the task force with Senator Dick Durbin and U.S. Representative Luis Gutierrez. The president of the University of Illinois says its 3 campuses cannot legally serve as sanctuaries for immigrant students illegally living in the country, despite a pressure to do so. President Timothy Killeen saying they must uphold state and federal law, and they cannot declare campuses as sanctuaries. A 32-year-old nurse has been sentenced for illegally using drugs that she falsely claimed that she administered to patients at a Central Illinois health facility. Yesterday, the Illinois State Police tells us a judge sentenced Tracy Long to 24 months of probation and 30 hours of community service. All-Star ace Chris Sale joining the Red Sox and leaving the South Side for a package of 4 prospects. Pistons over the Bulls, Blackhawks blank Arizona, and the news service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor, she moved in because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, AT&T's Chairman Randall Stephenson will tell senators today that merging with Time Warner will disrupt the cable TV model and will benefit customers. The Wall Street Journal reports Stephenson will say the deal will actually create more competition and will step up the next generation of advanced wireless broadband. The Senate Antitrust Subcommittee's leadership issued a joint statement saying the deal would potentially raise significant antitrust issues. Staples is selling most of its European operations to private equity firm Cerberus Capital Management. The European unit involves retail stores and online businesses in 16 countries. Earlier this year, a federal judge blocked Staples' merger with Office Depot. Royal Dutch Shell is expected to reach agreement with Iran today to develop a major Iranian oil field. The Dow closed up 35 yesterday to a record. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Christmas is less than a month away, and this year, give the gift of sunshine. Grab your passport to paradise and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa in beautiful Punta Cana. It's an unlimited luxury adults-only resort with all the amenities you can imagine. Give this trip as a gift to a loved one or treat yourself this holiday season. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
Offer not valid in all states and where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound I-80 is jammed. Wolf Road to past 183rd with a crash still blocking the left lane. There is a brief Gapers delay westbound. The Kennedy's a mess, an hour and 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 52 minutes from Montrose, 48 to the Express. Outbound is 29 from downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes from Manheim, outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 minutes. Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is bottled up Hollywood to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays, 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tillway to North Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and colder, high 29. Tonight, mostly cloudy, breezy, and colder with a low 16. Mostly cloudy and breezy tomorrow with a few flurries, high 25. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money.
This is not profit. This is loss. This is a mass grave.
So for the families, can you...
I'm only here to say one thing, that I am incredibly sorry.
It's a very unusual tactic for anybody, including a governor, to hold hostage the governmental budget-making process in order to help his wealthy friends and large corporations.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, it's the holidays.
Yes, it is, Dan.
And this is an important story about obesity in America. It's so important that the brilliant Stephen Hawking has weighed in on the matter.
Yeah, he recently appeared in a PSA for a Swedish company warning about obesity, and it's becoming an epidemic.
At the moment, humanity faces a major challenge, and millions of lives are in danger. As a cosmologist, I see the world as a whole, and I am here to address one of the most serious public health problems of the 21st century. Today, too many people die from complications related to overweight and obesity. We eat too much and move too little. Fortunately, the solution is simple. More physical activity and change in diet. It's not rocket science. And for what it's worth, how being sedentary has become a major health problem is beyond my understanding.
I want you to take this seriously.
No, I do too. He's the thinnest person you could probably find doing a PSA on obesity.
Well,
come on.
No, I don't know.
No, you know what? Let's not go there.
I don't know if that was Eddie Redmayne or if that was the actual Stephen Hawking.
That was actual Stephen Hawking.
Hawking went on to add some commentary that kind of outside the bounds of the PSA.
Tell your wife to come over to my place if she wants a little boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. Boom.
Oh, that feels so good.
Yes. On tape
like that.
So I'm just. So I mean, they got to take the microphone off after he did the PSA. Stephen Hawking.
Please.
Nearly half of America's overweight people don't realize they're overweight.
See, now that's a problem.
It is a problem.
Because you're morbidly obese.
But I acknowledge it.
Right.
I acknowledge it.
Well, when did it start? When did you just give up and then just start consuming more and more food and stop working out? What was your moment?
I think when I got into politics, I said, this is, for the soulless and those that are dead on the inside. So, I mean, why not? Just engorge myself, which I've done. I mean, I don't know. I guess I...
4 bills now?
I'm closing on 4 bills.
Do you know, because obviously we're joking about this, especially if you have, if you watch us on the internet every day.
No, I mean, the stream is slimming.
But some people actually ask me if you're really morbidly obese.
Yeah, I'm like 375. I mean, I don't know if I'm 5'4", 375. Does that count? I don't know. I don't know what my BMI is.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro.
So here's the story from the Washington Post.
Yeah, what's the rub?
70% of Americans are obese or overweight. No, 70%. That's a big or.
Well, or overweight. A lot of people are overweight. They just don't like to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, being 15 pounds overweight versus being morbidly obese are two different things. But the only 36% think they're overweight.
Huh.
So this is 70% of people call themselves very or somewhat overweight versus 36% of people who think they're very or somewhat overweight. All right? So it's no body imaging problem with half the people who have a body problem, body actuality problem, I guess. And look at this. Actual versus ideal weight for American men and women.
All right, let me guess.
Between 1990 and 2016, how we've slid, up the scale, I guess, in the last 25 years. So for men in 1990, it was 182 pounds. Today?
That's the average weight for a man in 1990?
The ideal weight.
Ideal weight. How much?
Yeah.
You said 185?
Yes. Self-reported ideal weight. This is the self-report. So it's like what you think you are versus what you actually are, right?
All right.
That's the whole kind of genesis of the story. So men's ideal weight, they said in 1990 was 182 pounds. Today, men, taken as a whole, 194 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Well, what do you mean? Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, so in other words, as we've gotten fatter, our ideal weight has risen, right?
Okay.
Because we're kind of changing our expectations. So my ideal weight is 360. I don't know if I'll get there, but I'll try. Women in 1990, their ideal weight.
Let me guess. 120 pounds.
That's men's ideal weight for women. Women's ideal weight for women in 1990 was 140 pounds.
Okay.
Today?
Oh, let me guess. 145.
158. Ooh. Yeah.
I was pushing those digits when I was 9 months pregnant.
Oh, boy.
And I'm pushing those digits again. But say I don't weigh myself. Do you weigh yourself?
No. I mean, at my girth, there's not a lot of scales that can accommodate the kind of jack I'm carrying around.
You and I have a common friend. She weighs herself every single day, and it counts to the pounds. It becomes an obsession. That's why I don't count calories or weigh myself, because I don't want to end up like that.
Well, to Stephen Hawking's point, 7 in 10 Americans obese or overweight. Now that's a range, but only 36% think they are, because we're a self-esteem society where hey, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I look in the mirror. Look at this guy, huh? He's got it together. Hey, babes. You want a piece of this?
Obesity can cause chronic conditions, type 2 diabetes. And according to the Canadian Obesity Network, which I know that you pay close attention to.
Yeah, that's right.
1 in 4.
My favorite obesity network.
1 in 4 adult Canadians are clinically obese. 1 in 10 children clinically obese.
It can also lead to a chronic condition called death.
It's killing us. So sitting all day and eating all this food is literally killing us.
Well, that's why
it's processed food too.
It's the old saw about you don't see a lot of 300+ pound guys walking around in their 70s, right? It kind of catches up to you, and that's the Hawking point, and that I think is the point of this report, comparing what people are actually carrying around versus what they think of it versus what they think of it, I suppose, the actuality versus the perception. And at least for a substantial percentage, half the public, there's a pretty big gap. And then we're kind of dumbing down obesity by continuing to increase the ideal weight to make up for our increasing weight. And I think it's a real problem. And I think you and Stephen Hawking should team up for those PSAs and for other businesses.
That feels so.
Marianne and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. My husband is extremely fit, weighs himself every day. Our scale goes to the 10th of a pound.
Wow.
But he's very health conscious. And I chuckle at him, but I kind of wish I were like him, because his metabolism, man, if I had his metabolism for a month, I'd be a very, very happy girl. But I give him props, but on the other hand, sometimes I kind of, get a little jealous.
Oh,
right, you know what? Thanks for your candor, because that's a lot of people.
What size dress does he wear?
That's just for me to know.
Okay, and what's is it binging and purging? What's his secret? I'm trying to think about things I should try.
It's called.
What is his secret?
Yeah,
he works out.
He's an avid runner, and he was raised to think that dessert is a fresh piece of fruit.
No, that's disgusting. That's no way to live. Thanks for the call, Marianne.
Look at you're rolling your eyes. You're gonna
dessert
horrified over there.
Dessert is a fresh piece of fruit. I mean, what?
That's what. Well, because there's sugars, natural sugars in fruits.
You know what dessert is? Dessert is 2 healthy scoops of peppermint ice cream that John Cass buys for me at Shaw's Crab House, which he did the other day. That's
Really?
dessert.
You
and
had
then
2 scoops of peppermint ice cream?
Yeah, and then I go take a long nap. Yeah.
And then you get up and
then
you go at it again.
hibernate. Then I come here. I have half a dozen donuts and 2 pots of coffee. Then I take a nap. Then I go to lunch with John Cass. He buys me ice cream. Then I take a nap. Then I come here. That's my routine. That's how you pull down 360 or 70.
Do you ever go to the doctor? Have you ever gotten your cholesterol
What are
level
doctor
checked?
I look in the mirror and I say, "There's nothing wrong with this guy." Charles Atlas over here. Doctor.
Well, you used to go to spin classes.
Yeah.
Operative word. Used to.
What a waste. Then they didn't have a bike that was big enough for me.
Did you crack the seat?
No, I had to ride a tandem bike by myself. The spin class. Kurt in Park Ridge.
You know, I'm a fat guy. I used to be in shape a long time ago. But the numbers you're coming up with, someone that's 220 could be lean and someone that's 190 could be fat.
Well, right. I mean, these are median numbers. Yeah.
And the bottom line is no one comes out of this alive. So, it's up to people for their own self-preservation. And I hate to see the government get involved in telling people what they have to weigh.
Well, no, okay.
You know
Thanks
what,
for the
though?
call, Kurt. I mean, you're not being told what you have to weigh.
Well,
but,
no, because schools insert themselves.
Yeah. Michelle Obama wants you to be told.
Right. If there is a child that is a bit overweight or, teetering on obesity, they'll be, they're not advised, but they're watched over during lunchtime to make sure they don't sneak in some other candy that might be in their pocket.
And take them to the fat camps.
Well, yeah, and Michelle Obama salad bar
The
lasted.
Michelle Obama fat camp.
Seriously, because I saw that because I used to volunteer. I used to be a lunchroom lady with my lunchroom lady arms.
Yeah.
And the Michelle Obama salad bar didn't last but a month because nobody wanted to eat salad.
Speaking
Just a
of
few
that,
girls.
What's Michelle Obama's ideal weight versus her actual weight, do you think?
I bet. Well, I saw her in the locker room a few times. I mean, she's my height, and she's I don't know. I think I've always thought Michelle Obama is beautiful.
Oh,
and you
yes.
guys, you and Marcus Brown don't think she's pretty. I think she's stunning.
Ravishing.
She's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
She is absolutely gorgeous. But
There's
I bet
no question.
she's probably 200, maybe.
No, it's great. No. Hey, look. Great. Look.
Or maybe 180. I don't know. But she's tall and she's big boned.
What is she, the 7'6"? Kurt from Park Ridge has it right, though. Look, none of us are going to get out of this alive. So, indulge yourself, be a glutton, commit one of the 7 deadly sins.
And
gluttony,
don't listen to Steve Hawking.
and just waddle around for 42, 43 years and call it a day.
Fat people around with a tuba. Stop it! Cut it out! I have a glandular problem.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan, why you got a tuba player following you everywhere?
Now that would perhaps curb my appetite. Also, a text from 773. Hey, I pay a lot of taxes to the schools on my food and booze. I'm not obese. I'm an education provider. That's a good way to look at it.
Forecast for today. Well, winter blast is upon us. It's going to be cold and blustery, cloudy, wind chills in the teens. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eastbound I-80, it's a big fat delay from Wolf Road to past 183rd. The crash still has the left lane blocked. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, very slow all the way from around Raymond to the Myers Toll Plaza after an earlier collision. The Edens, it's 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 31. The Kennedy, an hour and 14 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound just 29 minutes. The Ike, an hour and 20 minutes now. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 40 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Mike Scott just brought in dessert for Dan Proft. And look, it's an apple.
Yeah, I know. He's another sicko.
Hey, do you need to sell your home right now? Has it been on the market so long Your listing expired? Well, I know the man who will absolutely sell your home now. It's Saul Z and the Z team, and he needs homes right now all over Chicagoland. Saul's database of thousands of buyers are looking for homes in the $250,000 to $750,000 range. There's likely a buyer for you right now, so don't wait. On average, get this, Saul sells a home every single day. No other agent sells your home quicker or for more money, and he's so confident he will sell your home, he offers a 59-day guarantee. That's right, list your home with Saul. If it's not under contract within 59 days, Saul sells it for free without commission. Again, 59 days, or he'll sell it for free. And Saul needs homes to sell right now. So contact Saul Z today at callsaul.net. That's call, SAUL.net. Or dial 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. And please tell Saul that I sent you.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. No one attains greatness without risk. After 4 decades in real estate development, Donald Trump knows this. It's true for America, too. Trump broke through in the Rust Belt because he understands something that escaped both effete establishmentarians like Mitt Romney and champagne socialists like Hillary Clinton. That something is not everyone wants to be an entrepreneurial capitalist, and not everyone wants to put their skinny jeans on one leg at a time, throw a novelty T-shirt over their androgynous upper body, and ride their skateboard to some loft space where they code apps all day. And something else. That's okay. It's okay to want to work a diligent, honest 40-hour work week and be able to support one's family and live a comfortable life in so doing. There's nothing wrong with Mike Rowe's world of dirty jobs. But there is something wrong with an entitlement mentality that demands special provisions from the government necessarily at the expense of others. There is something wrong with lambasting a rigged, 2-tiered system right up until you are the beneficiary. Replacing one set of rent seekers for another ensures only that America works for those who don't. What's great about that?
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I feel like at least 50% better so far. I'm not as fatigued because I do construction work, so I normally get knocked around a lot. And I'm like 60 plus years old, and I'm still doing it. And I can start beating guys half my age now.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month's supply of fiber and spice, over a $100 value, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just closing the loop on the Stephen Hawking obesity story. Text from 219. Stephen Hawking is right about obesity. That's why I bought his first exercise video.
Oh. I mean, it's just a strange spokesperson to have to encourage people to get out and exercise 30 minutes a day.
Well, because he's smart. You know.
Well, yeah, no, I know he's a brilliant mind.
Yes. Yeah, theory of everything.
Right.
Yeah. All right. There's no good segue, but we need to revisit Food for the Poor.
Yes, we've teamed up this year, this holiday season, with Food for the Poor. Our goal this year is to feed 1,500 children, primarily in Haiti and Guatemala. And we're asking for a one-time donation of $50. With that, you will feed one child for a year and provide clean water to them for life.
And the Business Benefactor Program is, in exchange for enrolling in the Business Benefactor Program, that $2,500 tax-deductible donation, we're going to respond with our generosity, our thanks, by giving you, your business, 40 60-second commercials that will air on AM 560 between the hours of 5 a.m. and 8 p.m., so our prime broadcasting hours, Monday through Friday. It's the best advertising deal in Chicago. To enroll in the Business Benefactor Program, which, again, would the $2,500 tax-deductible donation provides food for a year, water for life for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala, where children are literally on the precipice of starvation, towards our goal of feeding and providing water for 1,500 children and families in Haiti and Guatemala this Christmas season.
And if you want to become a business benefactor, call Michael Mann directly. He's the director of sales. His number is 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527. It's really the best advertising deal in all of Chicago radio. $2,500 tax deductible. That donation goes all to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thanks, we give you those 40 60-second commercials. So thank you so much in advance for your generosity.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work, and I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Tammy wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Buffalo Grove. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by me before talking to a realtor is like serving a bacon double cheeseburger to a rabbi. Not kosher. I pre-qualified Tammy to purchase a home and introduced her to Gary Ellis, my preferred Buffalo Grove realtor. If you're purchasing a home, call me first. I'll pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to my experienced team of preferred realtors who will help you locate the perfect home. My team of real estate experts will always look out for your financial best interest. If you're buying a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
AM 560, The Answer.
We're getting so many text messages that we cannot read about that last segment. Anyway, coming up in our next half hour, Dan.
We'll continue our Guess Your Weight segment featuring Amy Jacobson with Stephen Moore at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
24 degrees, cloudy skies, winds west at 13, and President-elect Donald Trump insisting this morning he's showing a little bit more control on social media.
Between Facebook and Twitter, I have, more than 40 million people. And that's a modern-day form of communication. I get it out much faster than a press release.
Trump was on the Today Show this morning celebrating his selection as the Time Person of the Year. First responders are on their way to the site of a Pakistani jetliner that crashed. The plane was carrying 50 on a flight destined for Islamabad. A strong earthquake has rocked Indonesia's Aceh province. Quake killed nearly 100. The town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, reopening to people who lived there after the massive wildfires that killed 14. Residents can return starting this morning. Several students at a suburban high school who were sickened after eating gummy bears laced with an unknown substance that may have been liquid-based marijuana have been hospitalized. 13 were treated. 11 remain under the care of doctors and nurses. Autopsies are scheduled later today for a husband and wife found shot to death in Burbank. And state employees have at least a few more weeks to try and carve out a new labor contract. A judge in St. Clair County blocking Governor Rauner from imposing his final offer on AFSCME members. And Congressman Steve Scalise has come to the aid of Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert. But it's not what you think. You know, Gohmert has a habit of smoking ribs, barbecued ribs, on the balcony of his office in Washington, D.C. Capitol officials say it was a fire hazard. They ordered Gohmert to stop. Scalise defended Gohmert and then got the Capitol to back down after getting Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, involved. Gohmert says cooking ribs is one of the few times he can actually leave a good taste in people's mouths. Chicago sports, Chris Sale joining the Boston Red Sox, traded by the White Sox for a package of 4 prospects. Pistons over the Bulls. Blackhawks beat Arizona. And the news, a service of Panera Bread. Family and friends will like whatever you get them this holiday, but why not get them something they'll love? A Panera Bread gift card. For every $50 in gift cards purchased, get a $10 bonus card for yourself. Visit your local bakery cafe for more details. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher will always tell it like it is.
He's blasted if he picks people who seem to be regular Washington insiders for his cabinet. And then he picks Ben Carson, the consummate outsider, to head up HUD. And big mouths like me say, well, you know, is Dr. Carson really a good fit? So here I am, part of the problem rather than the solution.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
B-Dubs is rolling out new shareables, like the Game Day Sampler, packed with traditional wings, chili queso fries, fried pickles, and cheddar cheese curds. It's perfect for game day. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
I own a fast food restaurant that was broken into early this morning. They tore the alarm panel right off the wall, and alarm detection systems came in the same day to replace it.
Same-day service is available to all of our customers. Never worry about your security system. Get to know Alarm Detection Systems. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I'm living alone for the first time in 40 years, and I'm worried something might happen to me.
Live independently with a medical alert device from Alarm Detection Systems. Setup is easy, and 24/7 emergency assistance monitoring is included. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound I-80 remains jammed from Wolf Road to past 183rd Street. The crash there has finally cleared. Eden's inbound is 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26. The Kennedy with delays starting at Austin. An hour and 14 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 45 minutes from Montrose. 36 in the Express. Outbound 11 minutes to Montrose and 30 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour, 19 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 56 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Southbound 55 is jammed from past Weber to 126 to the reported crash. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State stop and go 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. Eastbound Adams Tollway to Bussy to Lee. Reagan Tollway from Raymond to 355. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, and AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy, breezy, and colder today, a high of 29. 25 outside. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Dan and Amy, what is up? Well, Trump had a couple things to say, one a bit more controversial than the other, at first blush at least. Yesterday, the one was about Boeing, and he said this about Boeing and Air Force One.
You tweeted this morning about canceling the contract for the new Air Force One. Is that something you're serious about trying to do?
Well, the plane is totally out of control. It's going to be over $4 billion. It's for Air Force One program. And I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money. Okay, thank you.
I mean, is Boeing robbing us blind, us taxpayers?
Well, again, there's nothing should be exempt from scrutiny, but there's some suggestion that this was a response to Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg
granting an interview to the Tribune, right?
Well, criticizing Trump's suggested policy of imposing tariffs on companies that build facilities overseas to sell products back to the United States, which is troubling public policy. And frankly, the Boeing CEO it wasn't overheated in any way, shape, or form. It wasn't anything that he hasn't heard from, economic advisors like, say, for example, Stephen Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, who joins us now. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Hi, guys.
Hey, so what about that Boeing comment, and was it a kind of response to the Boeing CEO weighing in on Trump trade policy, or was it just an example that Trump is willing to scrutinize all federal spending, including on the defense side, even Air Force One?
Well, it's a good question. It's the right question to ask. I honestly don't know. I mean, I didn't talk to him about this. I wasn't in the room when he tweeted this stuff out. But I will say this: I hope his motivations were good, because the cost of federal overruns in terms of all this corporate welfare that we're giving to companies like Boeing, then they just rack up these gigantic bills. The cost overruns cost tens, sometimes hundreds of billions of dollars to taxpayers, and I think it's a very good thing if you say, look, there's a new sheriff in town. We're not going to take these cost overruns. We're not just going to keep writing you checks if your costs go out of control. This is a builder. This is a guy who is a real estate guy. He built buildings. He knows what it's like to deal with contractors who try to bilk you out of money. I thought he was standing up for taxpayers here. I mean, what's wrong with saying, you know what? We're not going to pay you these excessive charges. We're not going to make taxpayers pay $4 billion for a plane that should cost $3 billion.
Now, the one thing that would cement that viewpoint is if Donald Trump said, "And oh, by the way, we also should eliminate the Export-Import Bank." I know that some Republicans on the because I know you are.
I would love to see that happen.
I know.
I hope it's on the chopping block. I hope it's on the chopping block.
And the importance of that would be to send the message. I know Republicans, you think that this corporate welfare is okay and other is not. No, across the board. And Boeing is the beneficiary of loans from the Export-Import Bank, and that stuff needs to go away. That's real money over there too.
I think it's a great idea. But look, what I don't want Donald Trump to do is get in the business of using the power of the federal government to punish businesses who don't do what he wants them to do.
Right.
And I'm not accusing him of doing that, but I think I think that charge has been made, and it is true that he's had some spats with Boeing. So and look, we're not going to. And when it comes to the deals that he's been making, we're not going to be able to rebuild the American economy one business at a time. We have to set the framework for a very pro-growth tax and regulatory structure, and then the businesses will come back. And so he's not president yet, and I feel good about what he did with Carrier in terms of saving 1,000 jobs, but I don't think it should be his primary responsibility. I think his primary responsibility is creating a level playing field and a pro-competitive field that will make all companies want to stay here.
Now, this happened within the last 10 minutes. The Boeing CEO, what is his name again?
Dennis Muhlenberg.
Yeah, he did place a phone call to Donald Trump, and he said that he is going to work with the administration to look into making sure that costs are spent appropriately for the new Air Force One.
Well, see, but look, he's not even in office yet. He's already saving us money. So what are you guys complaining about?
Right, yes. Well, now, on some other good news, Trump announced yesterday that he secured a $50 billion investment in the United States, projected to generate 50,000 jobs.
Yeah, that's huge.
From SoftBank Group Corp CEO Masayoshi Son. who is a Japanese billionaire, and they kind of celebrated this announcement together. So that is great news, and foreign investment is great. So doesn't that mean that Donald Trump should stop jawboning trade deficits and talking about Japan ripping us off?
Well, look, trade deficits are not really that important. If we're increasing our exports, then it's a good thing. So we're creating jobs and we're creating providing low price, products for American consumers. But, look, let me answer that in a different way. I mean, this guy's off to a great start. I mean, he's basically, look what's happened to the stock market. Yeah. Look what's happened to consumer confidence. It's higher than it's been at any time in 20 years. Look what's happened to, even his approval ratings are pretty high. Even Democrats I talk to say, this guy really is serious about getting the job done. And he's got the taxpayers back. He's got the back of these workers who, many of whom never voted for a Republican before in their life. I don't find a lot to criticize so far. I know people are jawboning, this is corporate welfare, this is that. I think he's just basically going to be, he's going to be a hard ass, and he's going to negotiate with you. He's not going to take cost overruns. He's going to try to keep companies from leaving, and hopefully he's going to use the carrot, not the stick. And he's going to bring revitalization to every state in the Midwest except for Illinois, because you guys didn't go for him.
Yeah. Right. Well, Stephen Moore,
I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Stephen Moore, you did criticize Donald Trump last week when we spoke with you because he is interviewing and deciding whether or not to have Mitt Romney be his Secretary of State.
Oh, yeah, that's got it. I feel very strongly about that. I mean, I got a lot of tweets out from your loyal listeners, too, saying, right on, Steve. And I don't know if you saw, I dusted up a little controversy with did you guys see my statement about Taiwan?
Yes.
I said, for those who didn't see it, I said, good for Donald Trump, meeting or taking the phone call from the Taiwanese president. And I said, if China doesn't like it, screw them. I mean, why can't the incoming president take the phone call of one of our great allies, the foothold of freedom in the Far East? Why should we kowtow to the Chinese? They need us more than we need them.
Absolutely. And the likes of Ambassador Bolton had the same position that you did. And it was, it's kind of one of these overheated faux controversies.
Oh, well, the media, oh, my God, he can't do this. This is so undiplomatic. It's like, come on. I was meeting with Rand Paul the other day, and he put it well. He's like, this is Trump's, more gentler way than sending, the naval fleet into the
South China Sea. Yeah, right.
By saying, we're watching you guys, and we're going to be tougher with you. And I think it's a good thing. We should always be the friends of our allies and the people who stand up for freedom, like the Taiwanese do, because the Chinese government is still repressive. They still repress human rights. They still dabble with communism. And I stand with Taiwan. So sue me.
There you go. And it's always a good thing to talk to Steve Moore, Chief Economist at the Heritage Foundation, Trump Economic Advisor. Steve, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to be in charge of making America great again.
All right.
You go for it.
Now that inspires more consumer confidence. All right. Thanks, Steve.
And Stephen Moore joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Well, the sun's out, but it's cold when you factor in the wind chill. It's in the teens. We're going to have a high today of 29 degrees. Tonight, a low of 16. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and cold again with a few flurries, a high of 25. Let's get those travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Telemonte?
Funny you should ask, Amy. It's slowly getting better, and it is better than the Eisenhower. Kennedy has delays starting at Austin, and it's an hour and 4 minutes, so here to downtown. It's a lot better than it was. 39 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 29 minutes from downtown to the airport. Now that Ike, it's gotten worse, an hour and 19 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 56 minutes from Manheim, outbound 35 to Thorndale. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Stevenson, it's 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Southbound 55 is jammed from Weber to 126. There's some metal debris causing flat tires there on the southbound side. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow Archer to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park, Adams Tollway stop and go Bussy to Lee. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website is upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas is where you can find content that complements what we do here on this show. Premium content, some long-form interviews that we just don't have time for on the show with opinion leaders and policymakers, as well as commentaries from yours truly and other free market types. We podcast our Sunday show, Illinois Rising, which is an hour-long focus on state of Illinois politics and policy. Podcast selected interviews from our morning show, so you can catch up on those you like to hear from that you may have missed during the real-time airing of this show, as well as man-on-the-street interviews to see if people in Chicago can follow the logic or expose them when they can't. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz, at Automated Systems when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and we're happy to be joined by our friend Todd Chapman from Food for the Poor. Todd, running point, Food for the Poor, this holiday program where our goal here in Chicago with AM 560 is to feed 1,500 children and families that are on the brink of starvation, truly starvation, in Haiti and Guatemala. And we're well on our way thanks to the generosity of people like the Amish texter, who texted in that he made a $100 donation and breaking protocol with his Amish texting as he does, which is why they call him the Amish texter.
But because of his generous donation, he will feed 2 children for a year and give 2 children clean water for life. And we welcome back to the program Todd Chapman. And you have been to Haiti several times. And can you describe it? As people that have been there always tell me it's a different kind of poor. So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, it's I've been there. I was trying to count yesterday, at least 10 times, maybe 11. It's surreal is the best way I can describe it, because you see images like that on TV, but when you actually walk there, when you smell it, I know that sounds crazy, but there's a particular smell of extreme poverty. Combination of kind of like rot and burning trash, and it's just a very distinctive smell I've smelled nowhere else. And in Haiti, it's there. But it's incredible to think that you've got 11 million people, and 90% of them are just trying to survive on $1 a day. And and as Americans, we go through these gyrations of but it's cheaper, it's the developing world, their costs aren't. Yeah. It's still $1 a day, okay, and it's still an island. And everything has to be imported. Haiti can raise none of its own food between the drought and now the hurricane of 9 weeks ago. They've got a completely dysfunctional government, although they did just elect a new president on November 20th, so we'll see how that works out for them. Notoriously corrupt, no jobs to speak of. How are you supposed to survive in that? And the thing that breaks my heart is, the kids pay the greatest price. And what does the future look like for these kids? And that's why for 35 years, Food for the Poor has been committed to doing everything we can to break that cycle of poverty. But this is a long-term battle. It's going to take a long time. So many foundational issues there. But what we're asking you to do today as part of this Christmas campaign, and by the way, just phenomenal. I just got a report. We are like 2/3 of the way to our goal already.
Great.
Of 1,500 kids. So I think we're going to blow through this. But I want you to think about this, friend. For a $50 gift, and how many times are we going to drop $50 this year during the Christmas season on presents, on going out to, on eggnog, on booze and stuff for the party? So many ways we can spend that money, and it's awesome that we can. But I just want to encourage you, for $50, you could literally change the world for a child, particularly in Haiti right now in the wake of this hurricane. 1.4 million people are in desperate need of food. They're talking about famine conditions in the next 6 months, because you had, the drought, now the hurricane. They're coming into the dry season. The crops have been completely disrupted. So you really can make a life-saving, life-changing difference. And, of course, your gift we talked about earlier, 95% of your gift is going to go right to help these families, not going to be wasted. And so I just want to challenge you. Would you join a lot of the Answer listenership that's already given generous gifts and help us save some kids this year?
And the way you can do that is by calling 855-880-3663. Again, 855-880-FOOD. Or on your cell phone, just dial pound 250 and at the prompt say food. And you'll be trafficked to the donation. And in addition to that, if you're one of our entrepreneurial capitalist friends, like so many, like C.H. Hansen and LPS Corp. And Twin Supplies and Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling and Creative Contracting Resources Group and Gatto Plating, we've got a business benefactor program, $2,500 tax-deductible donation. That's food for a year and water for life, for 50 children in Haiti and Guatemala. And in response to your generosity, AM 560 is providing a little bit of our own. We'll provide 40 60-second commercials that will air on our airwaves between the prime broadcasting hours of 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's the best deal in Chicago, Amy.
Yes, it is.
And how do they sign up for that best deal?
Well, here's what you do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call Michael Mann. He's our director of sales. And you can reach him at 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527. We've had a number of businesses sign up for a business benefactor program. It's a great way to elevate your business to the next level. Best deal in Chicago radio.
And Todd Chapman, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your personal story, particularly somebody who's been to Haiti as much as you have been, so you know of what you speak.
Yeah, I appreciate all the gifts. Thank you so much.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I didn't get a cold is a miracle in mine because most years I would get like bronchitis 6 times.
I haven't had a cold in like 5 years. I attribute that to the fruit and vegetables and the fiber and spice.
I drive Amulet. I'm in hospitals all the time, and ever since I've been taking it, I haven't gotten sick.
With the tremendous success of Dr. Howard's free set of fruits and veggies giveaway and the 120-day health challenge, this holiday season we are doubling down. Call now and see how you can get your free month supply of fruits and veggies, plus a month supply of fiber and spice, over a $100 value, free. Give the gift of health to yourself and loved ones, perhaps the greatest gift you'll ever give.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of your premier home mortgage lender, Townstone Financial. Interest rates are extremely low, so there's no better time than the present to do a no closing cost refinance with Townstone Financial if your interest rate is above 4%. Remember, Townstone has completed thousands of no closing cost refinances since 2002. And don't worry, there are no hidden costs. I guarantee it, and I own the company. We can also customize the payback period so you don't have to start over at 30 years or 15. Last week, I began a no closing cost refinance where the borrower was going to save over $100 per month. That's $1,200 a year. So give me a call now at 312-896-2111 and let me review your current situation. Lastly, do you have mortgage insurance or an FHA loan? Let us see if we can remove the insurance payments, which will dramatically reduce your monthly payments. The call is free and so is my time, so dial 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com. Townstone Financial is an Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and MLS 136639, equal housing housing lender.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now it's time to put your money to work for you.
Thank you so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to David Stripling, our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer.
We're a couple of crazy college kooks.
We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go to our Rock of Gibraltar, our newsman, Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Naperville North High School students hospitalized after eating tainted candy. Husband and wife found shot to death in their Burbank home. Illinois lawmakers in a stare down over the budget